Okay. Let's go further. People ready to go further? Ready to learn something that you didn't know they were telling you? I can lead you to it, lead you through it, get you up to speed. I'm catching a lot of people up to speed. So, you know, as long as we get the word out to the people that are on the ground that are affected by this stuff, that can make an informed decision, at least a fair informed decision on whether they should leave or whether they should have already left, you know. Man. What's up, people? So I'm gonna bring something to you. There's a new conference. I see I got one in the room. Appreciate you showing up. I'm here all the time. You guys don't always show up. Just that's fine though. I give no warning on my lives. I don't need 1,000 people in the room. I appreciate the like. That's got to be why. How do I get a like? And I just got here. I ain't even done nothing yet. How do I get a like? How does that even happen that I get a like and I ain't even done it yet? I bet you that's got to be JD. Or well, you know what? It's cool. So yeah, there's more intel that you should know about this. They released another press report. We're gonna check it out. I'm gonna play it for you. I'm gonna give you some of my views on it. It's more, I ain't gonna call it romper room bullshit, because they stopped jumping from one person to another so much. They line them up against the wall, which was very symbolic. And I didn't say that. But they did line them up against the wall and ask them questions here and there and what. And there was a few other officials in there that didn't need to be against no wall. But it's funny, they're wearing safety vests. The ones that they're wearing safety vests. Some of them aren't. So it wasn't required there, but they're wearing it. Just for looks or something, or part of the psyop. I don't know. I got some info for you people though, and we'll get into it in a second. I'm giving some people some time to get into the room. Make a comment if you want. Go ahead and make a comment, or if you or whatever. We'll go through that. Then we're gonna play this, and then I'll tell you what they're telling us. I'll tell you what they're not telling us. I'll tell you what they're hiding from us, and I'll tell you what the people on the ground, they're gonna have to listen. We need some specialists that are doctors that are not able to fly out there to get, not here on my channel and make comments. You don't have to. Make a video, set up a YouTube channel, and tell us the effects of this stuff. We also need chemists to get on here, make a YouTube video, and tell us the effects of the stuff. You know, what it's supposed to cause. They're saying, oh, you might feel dizzy or you might have a tummy ache and you're going to be all right. But the children, the babies, are saying a totally different thing. Their noses are bleeding and all, and I already know all this. I don't know, like I said, what the chemists would say. I want to hear what the chemists would say. I want to hear it. You know, I've got the book up there that tells me what it's about, but I want someone to put links up on here to MSDS sheets online. Somebody, be a digital soldier, be a patriot, help me out. Put a link on this video in a comment when it goes up as a video to where you can go online for a MSDS sheet, rather than just if you're hauling this stuff and they happen to hand it to you or whatever. And the MSDS sheet, you know, now they call it, I think now instead of a material safety data sheet, now they're just calling it maybe material data sheet or MDS, whatever. They want to change the names up, you know. And then there's another lab test sheet that they give you that certifies it and stuff. What we're looking for is more information on this pie gas crap and what all they mix into it, but also naphtha, xylene, benzene, because it's coming out of that stuff, toluene, which was in a tank, hexane, which I believe was in a tank, or at the very least is leaking from that stuff. And then see, here's the thing. I'm gonna go ahead and show you something that I have. that they're showing you this, and they're giving you data that's like, okay, we're not going to tell you about the levels, but then one report lets out that it was 10 point something in one reading. Oh, but after that we got good reading at somewhere close to there. But yeah, so 10 point something in one place, which is, I think, God knows how far off the charts. 5 point or 8 point something somewhere else, 5 point something somewhere else, and 4 point something somewhere, which 4 point somewhere is worse than 1. 1 is where alarms go off. 4 is, like they were saying, actually it's 5 times that much because it goes on a progressive scale. That's fine. So they're not going to give you the readings. They say that there's some immediate online, you can read readings of what they are right now in your area, but I don't think they're giving you archive stuff. I don't think they're telling you about the bad readings at this o'clock or that o'clock. And now it's affected a battleship that's out there, and those people had to shelter in place. I mean, it's like, at that point, it's like batten down the hatches, you know, but actually the gas is only going to come up maybe 3 foot, even with wind and waves, 3 to 5 foot, and most ships are taller than that. But if you got a little pirogue out there, if you got some little boat, you don't need to be out there on the water. Even without a gas mask, the wind will blow it up over you. You'll hit it on your skin. The people who were testing out there left, and they had gas masks. They said it's not safe for us anymore. And they know it. Once that wall broke, but I'm telling you, they're not telling us what's in the other tanks. People, they're keeping a lot from us, and they're wanting to tout that it's bad to look for that one chemical, benzene, which is 130 in this response guidebook, but actually it's a worse distance and more 153 of this guidebook. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I keep that for my stuff, but what is in there is information on their stuff, on all of it. So 153 in the guide is a greater distance, greater response than even the 130. But they're chasing that 130. It's all dangerous. It's all equally as evil as something, honestly, like nuclear fallout or some kind of a chemical agent or anything you could describe it, but it's a chemical. Okay, and it's odorless, colorless. They're gonna say, oh, you'll smell something or get a waft of it. One waft is too many. It's any exposure is hazardous to your health, and it will cause holes in your lungs, problems with your nervous system, and you will have problems and effects of it, and you could die early easily with any amount of it. That's why they suit up so much. Well, they are not telling us the levels. Those were levels that I saw in independent different places that they said about, but they're not going up there and standing up there in front of the press and saying, at this time we measured this level, at this time we measured this level. Okay, I had a truck driver on here last night I was talking to, and he says he drove through it and then he had a really bad night and he had all these effects of it. If you drove through that stuff and you were traveling, you need to get that, go ahead and get that and get into a hospital, get your blood test done, get checked out, and then they can't refuse you even if you don't have insurance at a hospital. You can go in and get checked out and tell them what possibly affected you, and you need to go ahead and get it notated and get the ball rolling, because you may have to sue them later. It could kill you later. You may not hit the effects of it until later, and you need to be able to pay your bills later and get a settlement before if it does kill you. That's just the truth of it, okay? And so people who have drove through that, or who were stuck out in traffic in that or anything like that, you need to know, you need to get that documented, and do not do that settlement with them. But here's what I'm going to show you now, okay? All right. They don't want you to know what's in 8 other tanks, people. Like I said the other day, you can count, right? I was trying to lead you to this. Now I'm going to lead you further. Okay? They had a leak where they were actually trying to fight a fire. They put it out. Then what happened was they had foam on top of a tank, and then they were trying to drain that tank and put it into another tank, even though there's still hot spots and stuff. They were trying to drain it down. They leaked it. I mean, they emptied it. Sorry. They were emptying these tanks while they were on fire, but they also now are trying to pump off this one that has the foam on top, and every time it goes down, it's going to leak every time. Okay. About every 8 hours you're gonna have deadly stuff around there. That's why I said just get the hell out. But let's just go further. Okay, there's a wall next to that tank. While they were pumping it off and pumping it into another tank on the facility that was a good tank, they had a wall break and chemicals went out of that wall and into a long ditch line and made smoke and fire. I told you about that. Okay, here's the part that I did not tell you. Just by magical mystery happenstance, next to the least fire and heat related whatever to this tank, because this tank still has stuff in it and they put it out, and they've got a half a tank of material in there still, so it's still half full, it's half tall. It's a coincidence that the wall was broken right there where they were working. I am not going to say, because I understand sometimes there's a lesser of two evils that you have to do or whatever. I'm not going to say that in any way that I think that they broke that wall down to get to that tank better and it leaked all that stuff into that channel. I'm not going to say they accidentally broke that wall because the heat degraded it. I'm going to say that it is one heck of a coincidence, and this is what they're not telling you, but this is what I made up of a map of this whole deal. Okay, understand that this is the tank farm, this is the north wall. If you want to orient it like this, that's fine. That way goes to the channel. That's the tank affected, 80-7. Okay, that's the one that was, every time the foam goes down it leaks out and they're looking for hexane and stuff, right? That's the breach right next to it. That is a coincidence, right? Just like it's a coincidence at 5:08 in the morning that they shut off all the sensors, right? Okay, did they have to pull it? You know, I don't know. You know what I mean? So you getting this? So I don't have to number all the rest of them and put what all, it doesn't matter. They're all burned up except for these two. These two that say okay. You got me, people? So, and that's west towards Houston. That's the way all the smoke and stuff was going. You know what I mean? So, you know, the first one, 81, naphtha, okay? They're not wanting to call the other stuff pie gas. 82, gas blend stock, okay? They're now not, why aren't they calling that pie gas? I don't know, but it's xylene is what it was, xylene. 83, gas blend stuff. I don't know why they're not calling that pie gas. 85, xylene. Okay, that's the leaking benzene was the 87, and 80-7 is right here. The way I know this is 80-7 is here's a schematic that I drew. These are the tanks that are next to it over a wall that's not affected. This, no matter how you count, is number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Doesn't matter how you count it. These two are unaffected, or maybe they got smoke on the outside of them, but they're not burned through or anything, right? All of these 13 are burned up, even though they're wanting to say 8. Count to 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, half burnt. 10, 11, 12, 13. These two are okay. This direction is north. We're going to orient it north. North, the wall breach, the channel, that way to the actual channel, and it all went into the water. Did they accidentally or otherwise break this wall while they were trying to unload this tank? You see this tank? You see the breach in the wall? They said it was next to 80.7. I'm fixing to play them saying that it was next to 80.7. This is a picture of the tank farm. That's the one in question up here. I don't want to play this one, but I'm just showing it. Oh, it's going to mess with me now. It's all right. I'll tap on it. This is an actual picture of that tank farm, oriented north. Okay, the one in the center up there that's burnt is the one they were trying to pump out, and that's where the wall is on the other side of it, and it breached. Okay, all the foam, all the chemicals that leaked from the other ones but did not actually catch fire, all in a mixture in a soup, went into the channel. Okay, that's what's going on. That's what's up. That's not what they're telling you, but that's what's up. They're giving it out in dribbles and drabbles and little pieces, and I'm putting it together for you. All right, so hold tight. And they're not giving measurements, but the measurements I put up there were found in 3 different places. And last night I'm sure was bad, and there's probably thousands in the hospital. They don't want to talk to them right now. They don't want to talk to any engineers. They don't want to talk to any chemists. They don't want to talk to any doctors. We need an engineer, a chemist, a doctor, because I'm telling you now, they're wanting to say that, oh well, it's some of the stuff is still contained in that wall that broke. I'm telling you that that whole facility, that wall is a very, very last ditch effort to even hold stuff back. They can't put it steel lined that would hold stuff, because then you'd have a possibility of electric shock or lightning hitting it and catching the things and blowing them up. So what they had to do was they had to make it out of concrete. Concrete is porous, even waterproof concrete. I don't care how thick you make it. That chemical has been eating its way through to the ground and into the groundwater, regardless of whether it got out. This is some Fukushima style mess. It's going to get into the groundwater. It's going to go out to the bay anyways. And all the gas just floats across the water about 1 foot to 2 feet high and will kill you if you're in a boat that's low. Those ship guys, like I said, batten down the hatches and stay up above deck and above board. I mean, you can stay below deck. I'm saying you want to stay, don't be crawling and rappelling off the sides with ropes. Now's not a good time to probably weld the side of the boat either. You catch the whole bay on fire, but at the very least you won't have air to breathe, and that stuff could come up on you and waft on you. Not a good time to be outside of that ship. You could probably be on deck, probably all right, but the whole, they said it went from the whole bay or whatever they call it to channel view. It's like, whoa. So here we go, and I'm gonna play this thing, and you just heard what I had to say, but for the people that just entered the room, this is my chart of the deal, okay? This is the tank that they were trying to pump off. That's the breach in the wall. Did they pull it? Did it happen on accident? Is it a coincidence? Did they figure out they couldn't put a hose over the top of that wall and pump it off, and the wall had to go, even though it was holding back all the chemicals that went into the bay? You know what I mean? And that ways to the channel. And all that nastiness went out there. And they can't stop it, they can't recover it. They said at this point they're just going to have to mitigate that. No, they're going to have to see, they're going to just not have to, they're going to sit back and see what happens to fish when this, I told you about the, ooh, and it's going to rain. That's next, and then all that stuff's going to leak out of the tank again when it pushes the foam down. But I'm going to go back. Let's see what I can do here. How about that? And they came out and asked how everybody was doing today. Yeah, they're dying. They're bleeding from the nose and out of their lungs. The cilia in their lungs is being eat up, and it's hurting them, and it's affecting them, and they just don't feel right, and it's bad. Okay, so we're going to play this, and I'm going to go back to the start of it. So they just want to give you numbers. They don't want to give you readings or any kind of numbers on the air, but they'll give you numbers on which tank was what, right? So let me see if I can find the right one and then play the thing. Full press conference. This full press conference is full of not a whole lot of intel. We want chemists, we want doctors. We don't want officials and saying how they love the, we love the community. We want to mold your mind. We want to, we keep the levels down, people. We don't need the bullshit. This ain't romper room. We want chemists who understand the chemicals. We want doctors who understand the effects, even though the chemists are going to tell you the effects. We want doctors. We want MSDS sheets on every chemical there, and we want to know what 8 other mystery chemicals that you're not telling us were in the other tanks. Because here's what they did to you, people. They told you what was in tanks of 80-1, 80-2, 80-3, 80-5. They did not tell you about, out of the other total of 13 damaged but 15 on the farm, there's 15 there. We'd like to know, we don't really have to know what's in these tanks that have not burned up yet. We need to know what's been released into the environment, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 tanks, people. 13. One was empty, but there was still residue. We need to know what that residue was. We need to know what's going on with this. We need the truth, and we need it as soon as possible. So if there's a chemist on here or anybody wants to talk about this can help us out, that's what we want. We want intel. True, honest intel, so that I don't have to make a schematic on a piece of notebook paper just to figure out where the dribbles and drabbles come out, all the pieces that you gave us. And we don't have to look into a book just to see what's going on with xylene, okay? Xylene, naphtha, that blend that you want to call pi gas, it's a bunch of stuff, toluene, hexane, all these bad things. We don't need to be led on a runaround, and some of these people are dizzy from this stuff and they just want answers. Their children are bleeding from the noses, which is coming out of and back into their lungs. These people don't want you to waste their time anymore. I think I can speak on their behalf because I've got people there too. If you don't mind, give the truth. So we're going to play this. We want what I just asked for. We're going to play this here. I'm going to have to swap up the audio. It'll take me just a second. I'm doing this for the people, and I'm doing this because it's my job to communicate the risk, and they're not communicating it. You're not doing your job, so I'm doing mine. If you have a problem with that because you're a shill for a company and you're paid off and you're a mouthpiece and you don't realize they're going to drop you too, I understand that. I don't want to hear anything from any official or from anybody. I want to hear from a chemist, a doctor, like I said, maybe an engineer that can talk about the structural integrity of the concrete underneath there and how long it's going to take for it to actually permeate all of it. And we'd like to know a little more about effects of all of the mixtures of gas and what happens when you mix all of them, even if it's extrapolation. We'd like to know death rates. We'd like to know how many months these people have and how long it's going to take before it might affect them and what their kids can do. That's what we want to know. And it's good to have vinegar to wash off acids and anything like that. I do believe that that would be a good thing to have. White vinegar to wash your arms if it gets on you and you don't have protective PPE of long sleeve that's rubber and all that stuff. However, at the same time, they do have on this website for KHOU 11, channel 11 in Houston, I guess tips and advice on how to wash clothes, tips and advice on how to wash your car, but I really don't think that that's not going to be enough. So, and wear gloves if you don't touch any of it. Any of it is contact. Any of it is contact. So, and there's going to be black rain cometh. I'm telling you people, the black rain's going to come down. Okay, so, and the gas is coming with it here. Let's get the audio here. Go to Bluetooth. And put it on the front. Line them up against the wall. We're going to control you from the right side to the left with questions. Well, I do what I can, people. Oh, this will work. Thank you for showing up. Oh man, I got 4 people in the room and 4 likes. How about that? You know, y'all see what I'm doing. Y'all know what's up. Have I lied to you yet, people? Let me know when I lied to you. I'll refer you to the book. That's where I'm getting all my intel. That's where I've always got it. Everything I've been taught is what I teach. What I know and what I've found out on my own is what I teach. No matter whether it's trucking or anything else. They're not communicating the risk, and they should have done a full evacuation 4 days ago, however long it's been, and they should have done it 4 miles around the city of Pasadena to start with, and then like I said, I've explained all that. Line them up against the wall. Now, there's a couple of them in there that don't work for this company, so as far as the lineup, you know, yeah, it's telling, but yeah. And the governor says they will pay. Governor says don't mess with Texas. Okay. He says they will pay. I'm hoping that they can do that legally, because I know they lawyer up and they cover themselves pretty good. And someone said that the company was owned by a Japanese company or something. I'll tell you, don't take their settlement. They're wanting you to go to their website and they'll give you some money and it says you can't sue them later. Don't fall for that mess. But they're gonna pack up and leave town when all this is over. They're gonna be leaving people high and dry. They're gonna show up for the court dates when they have to, years from now. Like I said, I don't know the power that governor has and what he can do, but he wants to put a Texas boot up their ass. That's for sure. It's gonna be, there will be a reckoning for some of this stuff. And like I said, I don't know why that wall. Like I said, I don't know. It seems quite telling. I know it's hard to pump water for the fire department. They'll knock a hole in your window if you block a fire plug, because that water has to flow freely. I don't know if they've decided that they had to knock down that wall to get hoses in there.
Let me bring you an update on the events that occurred yesterday. We had a breach of a secondary containment wall on the north side of the tank farm. The location of this breach was near tank 80-7.
80-7.
The breach was approximately 10 feet wide.
See, they give you numbers. I'm giving you this.
Some of the liquid
80-7
behind the containment wall remained behind the barrier.
Some of it did.
Some did escape.
No, a lot of it did.
The
90% left.
was made of a mix of the product from the tanks that burned in the fire, firefighting foam, and water from our firefighting efforts.
Here we go.
The cause of the breach of the containment wall is not yet known. Some of the liquid released from the breach was contained.
The cause of the breach of the wall is not yet known. In other words, why was the wall breached? It was a breach. She didn't say the wall falling over. She said breached. When you go into a house as a law enforcement officer, you breach the entryway. Breach means to go through, like that. When a chemical spills out, they would say, why did it? Listen to the words they use. Okay, and I'm trying to set up the audio best as I can to the front.
A ditch adjacent to the containment
I'll do this again real quick here.
Containment wall on the north side of the tank farm.
North side.
The location of this breach was near tank 80-7. The breach was approximately 10 feet wide. Some of the liquid behind the containment wall remained behind the barrier, but some did escape.
LOL, that lady is back.
The escaped liquid was made of a mix of the product from the tanks that burned in the fire, firefighting foam, and water from our firefighting efforts. The cause of the breach of the containment wall is not yet known.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to zoom out just a bit.
Some of the liquid released from the breach was contained in the ditch adjacent to the containment wall. Some of the liquid from the breach escaped out to the ditch and into Tucker Bayou. Efforts are underway to remediate Tucker Bayou. The release of the product caused elevated VOC levels, prompting a shelter-in-place recommendation for our industrial neighbors and for the battleship of Texas and the San Jacinto Monument State Park. In addition, the Coast Guard closed a portion of the Houston Ship Channel from Tucker Bayou to the San Jacinto Monument to Crystal Bay.
All the way to Crystal Bay.
At approximately 3:45, a fire in 3 of the tanks reignited.
Okay.
The tanks that caught on fire were 80-2, 80-3, and 80-5.
Xylene is in 5.
At the start of the incident, 80-2 and 80-3 contained gasoline blend stocks. Tank 80.
Okay, I could draw this any way I decided to, just so you understand, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 makes that 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 still makes that number 7, and they said that's number 7. 80-7, there's the wall breach, and that's the one they were pumping off, and that's where that 10 foot of wall just magically falls. while they're working on it. I don't know if they did it so they get access and get a straight line. Don't know. You know, lesser two evils, who knows? But here's what I'm saying. I could go through if I really wanted to, and once they figure out which way is north for 1 2 1 2 3, or if it's 1 2 3, how they number them, and I could put that's where 80-1 is with the naphtha, 80-2 with the xylene gas blend stock, 80-3 with the gas blend stock, which is probably also xylene, 80-4 is not affected, 80-5 is xylene, 80-6, that's mystery tank, mystery tank, mystery tank, mystery tank, mystery tank, mystery tank. We're not going to tell you, we're not going to tell you, we're not going to tell you, and we're not going to give you any readings on the air. We'll let her talk some more.
DI-5 contained xylene. This fire spread to the liquid that had escaped through the containment wall breach into the adjacent
It didn't
ditch.
leak, it was escaped.
Firefighters immediately began spraying water and foam on both fires. The fire was extinguished at 4:45. The containment wall breach is secured.
Oh, it's secure.
Efforts are
We're good
ongoing to strengthen the repair portion of the containment wall.
Here.
We're conducting a survey of the remaining containment wall. We have positioned additional firefighting foam pumps around the containment area. These pumps will allow us to apply a higher volume of foam quickly should the foam barrier be broken.
Again. Say again.
Moving forward,
say again.
We continue to monitor VOC levels. We measured intermittent VOC levels in the industrial area close to the site of the fire. Our community monitoring programs generated no levels of immediate health concern. When the containment wall was breached, the efforts to pump out 80-7 were suspended.
They stopped pumping it off.
When we are sure that the repaired wall area and the containment is fully strengthened, we will resume pumping operations. We have trucks in 2 locations, that's vacuum trucks, to remove liquid from the containment area and are pumping to secure storage tanks. Brent Weber will go over our operational objectives for the next 24 hours.
The objective is for them to cover themselves and not tell you anything.
Going to interpret what I said before the mayor starts speaking.
So, an interpreter to tell you what she didn't tell you anything about in Spanish before the mayor starts speaking. So because of that, they didn't tell you anything in English. There's no reason for me to let her translate it into Spanish. I'm going to talk for a second. Okay, so like I said, they rebuilt the wall. They're saying they want to strengthen it, whatever. It let all the chemicals out. 90% of it's in the bay now. And what they had to do was, this affected Battleship Texas. Okay, people? Batten down the hatches. Sailors, you know, don't go jumping into your little boats there. Stay on the big ship. All right, so, because the gas rides on top of the water. All right, this is Battleship Texas, and the Houston ship channel has been closed. They found elevated levels of, and they don't want to tell the exact reading or whatever. But then she says there's no high reading, but she says there's elevated levels of. You know, so that's where we're at. I'll show this. This lady will be done for a second here, and we'll listen to the rest of it, and I'll drop it like that. So like I said, if you need to, you can still frame this. Here, this is oriented north. You can still frame this. All right. You can draw your own. There you go. What a deal, people. It goes on, so need water. I get to talking like that. So I'll tell you, you know, they have they've already told us they knew that the gas was going to be released again. They let us know. They knew, and they couldn't hide it, and they had to let people know. But they're not telling you the exact gas in these other tanks. It's some kind of a magical mystery gas, I guess, that's really bad, probably worse than what they've already got, or it's something they're not supposed to tell you about. And they're not being transparent. They're not giving any readings. Not yesterday, not last week, not last month. None of it. You get nothing. Okay? Reading for the day. That's donut. Reading for the day. So this lady will be done in a minute. I'm going to go back after this live and screenshot that for reference. Thanks for drawing that out for us. Yeah, I'll hold it up again. She's still all Spanishing it up. Look. And I speak Spanish as best as I can. But look, check it out. The north wall, here's what you need to look at. Basically, they were working on it right there, and they lost 10 foot of wall. Fell over. Why, we don't know, but they said that they did rebuild it, but whatever. So, but the problem is, inside here, inside this wall, okay, this is the wall. Inside this wall, there's no steel, because if lightning hit it, it would blow up the whole place. It's concrete. Concrete, even waterproof, does not hold back these chemicals. It's not made for that. It's a temporary whatever. It's not even made for none of this. And then down here, down this way is the channel where the water is, where all of the, where the ship, the Texas is down here somewhere, and it goes right into the water. And they showed views of that yesterday. What I wanted to draw was this, because there are magically mystery, okay, tanks. First it was 8. Oh no, it's not 8. It's 7. But then it's 6. But then it's 5. How many? Why does it matter how many? We want to know what chemical was released, and that we as people have to breathe now, and have breathed, or whatever. Truckers have went through there. I've told you to stay away from the truck stops, or don't deliver there. I've turned down loads. Go there. I'm not playing. Listen to what I'm saying. This stuff is the devil. It's like almost like a nuclear situation. So I'm just going to explain this to you. They have now told us a grand total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks and 2 other chemicals that are within those other mixes. So if they told you what was in this one, these 2 are okay. If they told you what's in this one, 2, 3, 4, that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, let's go again here. It's more than that then. Okay, they told you what, 4. It doesn't matter. There's about 8 mystery tanks. So let's just call these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mystery tanks. And let's just say that one of these is the pie gas or whatever, and it's a mixture of a bunch of crap. And then there's all of these mystery gas tanks, all this floating around in this area behind this wall. All this area was flooded with that and foam, and it all went into the water, and it's all down this way. The gas is floating there. The gas went out and went into the neighborhoods. Okay, so if you want to still frame something, that's the important part right there. Still frame that. Screenshot that. You know what I mean? And you can share this with anybody who wants to know what's really going on, because they're telling you dribbles and drabbles. Oh, it's 80-7, like you have a map of the place. Well, guess what, people? I drew a map of the place. How about that shit? You know what I'm saying? So for the intelligent people out here, there's nothing wrong with sharing this with everybody. Half of them might be dizzy off the gas that they had to breathe in. And I can rewind this, no worries. But you know what I'm saying? You don't need math. In the morning, if you want coffee, and someone, instead of putting half and half in words, put 1/2 plus 1/2, 1/2 and 1/2. When you're tired and you want coffee, or in the morning when you're waking up, you don't want math. You want half and half. They're giving you, while you're dizzy on chemicals and you need to know what's going on, this. You know? I mean, not this. They're not giving you this. They're giving you, you know, oh, it's 80. They're giving you, oh, it's 80-7. Like, you're supposed to know where that's at, what that is. And they're not telling you about the mystery tanks. What's in the mystery tanks? Okay, people? Are you catching up what I'm saying here? This is almost useless, but I'm going to play it. Oh, we'll give you some more useless. No worries. Am I saying I'm better than the news? No. I'm saying they're not giving you anything that you can use to know how to safeguard yourself. And they're saying, oh, you want to stay safe. What are you walking around just saying, I'm feeling safe right now because I'm being arduous, or what kind of word they want to use? You know, I'm going to be, I don't know, what is a word for this? People, I forget words sometimes. So be honest, I'm asking for help. What's some of these BS words they're putting on television? You know what I'm saying? It's like be vigilant. What the hell does that mean? Against what? Against what chemical? With what PPE do you not want me to evacuate and get the hell away from this stuff? And why is my kid's nose bleeding? You know, for these people. I'm not speaking in first reference. I'm speaking in second hand for the people of Texas who are affected in this area and who this is going on to. This is what I'm trying to say. They need answers to know how to live their daily lives. Not, hello, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm this person and this is my job. Okay, now next. Okay, hello, I'm this person. We're all working together, people. We're all holding hands and we're going to get through this together, and we love our community. So if you love your community, give us the readings. Give us what's going on. Stop giving us math homework. I did this for the people because you weren't able to give it to them. Now we don't want to know. We want to know what's in the other tanks and how that affects human life. Okay? Watch it be worse in the end than a 153 guide. Watch it be something in here that's really bad. Okay? That stuff's already really bad. It's all really bad. That's what's making me mad. They're not communicating the risk. They're giving you no communication. No risk. No assessment of no name of no chemical. I'd like to know what they are registered on that site. Somebody do a FOIA request and see what they are registered as having on this site. Find out what they have. Doesn't have to be the whole farm. We want this one from 80-1 to 80-15. Find it, people. Knock that out for me. We're gonna listen.
I'm Brent Weber.
Nice to meet you, Brent.
The incident, and I'd like to cover the
He's over the incident. He's going to help us.
Next
and he's got a vest on, so that's safe right there.
Yesterday where we were
even though this guy don't need one, this guy don't need one, and he really don't need one.
We've had to transition from proactive to reactive.
Look, check it out, everybody. Everybody, we need to vest up. Look,
today over the next 24 hours,
it's time. We got to put our vests on. Everybody, you seeing this?
And
put your vest on right now. Vest up, people. Be like him. That's what they're teaching you. That a vest and you're going to be okay.
Our industrial partners and our community. The second
How am
thing
I
is to do
supposed to
some
feel about this shit?
remediation of the ditches, the waterways, Tucker Bayou.
Hold on, bullshit meter's going off.
And then lastly is
the bullshit meter. I introduced this last night on a live. It's going off right now.
Primary containment vessel.
I'm gonna set it up here.
So that's our objectives today, and I'm going to turn it over to
there's bullshit meter. Put it right there on the tank.
As I've addressed each of you since this incident has occurred, every time I'm going to do it again, and through the duration of the event, I would ask all of you in this community to keep these first responders in prayer. There's a lot of planning going on, but as each of you should
I'd be planning on leaving.
Understand on a personal
I'd have done left.
Everything doesn't always work the way it's planned. And in this situation, it's been a never-ending reoccurring of attempting to do something and it just not working out the way it's been planned.
Pump it off into a tanker in the bay. You already put it in the water.
I've been before you is to address one main
buy a gasoline
concern, and that's public safety.
A big 330,000 gallon tank.
Every day, multiple times a day, asking them questions to make sure that everything that can be done is being done. So from my perspective as the mayor of Deer Park, I'm asking the same questions that all of you are in the media are asking to address the first and foremost that everyone has in this region, which is the concerns we have for public safety. Every time I've come out here, it's just caught me off guard at the people I've been interacting with, the responders on the scene. I had one of the incident commanders from Harris County come up to me last night, who's been here.
I want to say
the
something.
Beginning.
Of course we appreciate the responders. Of course we know that they're heroes. Of course they're putting their lives on. This is not you and what you need to be telling us about the chemicals, what their effects are, the magical mystery agents you got in 8 other tanks that burn up and we are not being told about. Or is it all naphtha? How many gallons? Don't give us barrels. We want to know gallons. Metric won't work. We're in the United States of America. Give us some damn gallons. And we want to know from those gallons, okay, how many true gallons did you have in these tanks? Don't tell us they were half full. Or you should have had 18-wheelers lined up trying to fill that thing up. You know you're keeping full stuff. Who rides on an empty tank, right? They weren't working off empty tank. Yes, there's storage, but I'm sure the things were full, okay? So, to capacity. Except the one that was empty they wanted to admit was empty, probably because it was damaged, and they emptied it for safety, and they probably did that one good. So one of them, these two are okay. One of those was probably one of the empty ones, or no, one of these other ones was the empty one. One that burned up was empty. But I'm just saying, stop deferring and deflecting. Stop deferring to other people who are doing a wonderful job. Yes, this is the mayor, but I'm saying don't even talk about that. We know they're doing their great job. We want to know how this affects public health. We want a chemist. We want a doctor. We want to know how many gallons it was. We want to know what the actual readings were. And we want to know what the readings were at 5 o'clock. We want to know what the EPA put out. And we don't have to wait 6 years for a FOIA request to know what these kids are going through now with a bleeding nose and everything else is going on.
And in his
with their
attempt
nervous
thanking
system.
me for what I'm doing, which I don't feel like I'm doing a whole lot in the reality other than just trying to make sure we ask the right questions. And when it got to
I
a
just
certain
gave you the
point, he
questions.
said, no,
Ask
I
'em.
mean, thank you, because my brother lives in Deer Park. And it kind of made me realize the collaborative effort that's going on right here today is everybody out here is doing the best they can. I can assure you, to the best of the understanding that I have, the resources that are available in this region and in this state are here, and they're trying to address every situation to the best of their ability. I was here yesterday and left right before the dike broke and was at Harris County Emergency Management. So I spent most of the afternoon over there monitoring the situation from there. And I can assure you, I am asking the questions to make sure is everything that can
It's
be
a good
done
thing he left
be
before
done.
it broke,
And
so he
to
wasn't
the best
affected
of
by
my
the gas.
ability, I'm here to tell you it is. So until we get to the conclusion of this scenario, every day I'm going to come up and ask you to continue praying as we support the people who are trying to make this situation, lacking for words, but let's just say mitigate the risk. We don't want any more risk to the impact of our public.
Give them all
It's
breathers.
necessary.
Give them all gas
And
masks.
when it occurs, they're doing the best they can to respond to it. So it's a very fluid situation. Keep everyone in prayer, and we'll continue this update and get some more reports from everybody here, which I'm getting every day. And I'm going to be up here every day until this thing is concluded. Thank you.
I'm gonna say something. Nothing against you guys here. You guys and that mayor. Nothing against any of you men. You need to shave off your beard and your mustache and get a gas mask, because it's not going to seal unless you have it. And it's a breather, and you need to be using that breather and have it around your neck all the time, right now, 24/7. That is my advice to you if you want to live. You understand what I'm saying? All these guys, if you're listening, no criticism. No criticism for that mayor. I'm just telling you what needs to be asked. However, every man up here, you have to shave that beard, a gas mask, you'll die. Okay? Even if they handed you a gas mask and said run. You'll die. Shave that shit off. Okay, next.
Good morning. So EPA continues to do air monitoring on the ground in the mobile units. EPA continues to do aspect air overflights over the incident as well as downstream in the communities. We continue to have the Taga bus driving around. After the incident yesterday afternoon, all of our resources were redirected to the north side or the northeast side, and continuous monitoring in that area to determine if there's any
I was not
impacts.
allowed to have a mustache or a beard hauling that stuff, and that's what I'm saying. So this is no joke here, people. You've got to shave. You have got to be clean shaven anywhere around that area. And if you ever and get your hands on not an old World War II gas mask, we're not talking about something that looks like it's got two eyes and stuff. Although it would mitigate your eye, you want goggles, and you want one that goes over your face, over your nose and your mouth, and it comes down just like that, okay, like a symbol of a sergeant, and then it's got a chemical screw-on cartridge here, screw-on cartridge here, or just it could be where you throw the whole thing away whenever the cartridges are used. That's what you want, and it will not seal anything with all this mess, dude. You got to get rid of that. So I'll get back to it. I had to say that. I'm sorry. I'm just letting people know you're going to know.
Benzene or
You know,
VOC detections.
no good if you have a beard. No good.
Then it's necessary.
So
And
we'll
when
get
it
to here.
occurs, they're doing the best they can to respond.
East side and
Ah.
continuous monitoring
We'll leave it
in
there.
that area to determine if there's any impacts.
Continuous monitoring, but they won't tell you what they
The
monitor.
airplane, the Aspect, had no
But he's the
benzene or
EPA.
VOC detections
That's cool. You'll get it later.
in the downwind community. The Taga bus didn't have any measurements above 1 part per million in the downwind community. And then the ground resources didn't have any detections in the community above 1 part per million as well.
And yet children are still bleeding from the nose and going
in
up
the
there.
industrial areas, we did get
In
some
the
hits up to
hospitals.
2 parts per million, but that's a controlled, not public accessible area.
It's not controlled. Man, come on.
And then we also, yep. And so I also have seen the ITC datas, and in the community, they directed all their stuff downwind as well during the incident yesterday, and they didn't have any detections in the community of benzene in above 1 part per million. In the industrial area, they did have some hits. It's to be expected.
Even 1 part per million.
Because of the change in the
Any
situation
contact is
yesterday,
bad.
prior to yesterday, the oil that was in Tucker Bayou had been contained, and after yesterday, now we have some oil in the Buffalo Bayou and the ship channel.
Hold on.
We're assessing,
It's not just oil, it's all of the chemicals. These are some really bad chemicals that they add to gasoline, just a little bit to gasoline. It's so strong. All those chemicals that were that didn't burn in those tanks leaked into that thing. Then there was a 10-foot wall breach, and it all went in with the foam and everything. That fire retardant foam's bad too for the environment, but it's the chemicals that's bad for people. The gas that was even being held by that wall, the gas just flowed out too. That rides with it.
extent we're delineating how much oil is out there, but to support that effort, I've tasked and activated the U.S. Coast Guard Gulf Strike Team to mobilize tonight or last night, and they're going to be here to help me and the Unified Command today. Their primary focus is their specialty, oil spill response on the water. So they'll be working with Unified Command and ITC contractors to clean up the oil in the Houston Ship Channel, excuse me, and then Tucker Bayou, wherever we need it. And also, as yesterday's situation
It's live on the
unfolded,
shutdown, but I'm here.
We've been in continuous communication with the regional U.S. Coast Guard, and yesterday they came out and we've asked them to kind of join our Unified Command and be part of this response effort and provide some support to us. So with that, we've invited Captain Odit, captain of the port, to join us, and he's going to share kind of an overview from his perspective as well as some other information.
Did anybody get any intel out of that? Any kind of readings?
The TCEQ is going to speak first. Thanks.
Good morning,
I did.
everyone. Anthony Buck, Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, Emergency Management. TCEQ has been on scene since Sunday. We have been collecting air monitoring data and water samples as part of Unified Command and monitoring response efforts
Yeah,
and
Rachel,
requiring
but nope.
cleanup and mitigation activities. Today, we are continuing
Share
to
this
collect
link on
water
Twitter.
samples in the Houston Ship Channel,
Anybody that's on
Galveston
Twitter,
Bay, and
go to
addressing
Twitter and
releases to
put this
surface
link and
water.
put that it's live.
This is a priority for TCEQ. We've also mobilized resources from other regional offices, Beaumont, Corpus Christi, Harlingen, and contractors to support the Houston Regional Office,
All the way from Harlingen.
as well as full support from our headquarters
Wow.
in Austin. All programs.
That's a long way, dude.
Thank you.
They did good bringing them from Harlingen. And they brought in that crack team from Louisiana to put the fire out. Those guys are awesome too.
Good morning. I'm Captain Kevin Odit. I'm the Coast Guard Incident Commander.
Ooh.
And I'm here in a role to support EPA as the lead federal on-scene coordinator. Our focus at this time is to ensure the safety of our on-scene responders, and also to mitigate any impact to the waterway.
And also his job is to stop any marine vessels from being where they are not supposed to be because they've done closed all that waterway. So don't go down there fishing. Don't take a little boat. There's gas on the water. It'll affect you from getting into your skin just as easily as it gets into your mouth, nose, eyes, throat, in through your ears, even with this chemical. It's crazy. So people are having, you know, hearing hurting in their ears and stuff too, but it comes into the mouth and nose for ear, nose, and throat. Every doctor that's a doctor for that is ear, nose, and throat doctor. Get in touch with ear, nose, and throat doctor. Ask them about the chemical effects. But this guy here's doing his stuff, and it's just too bad there's not like 100 of him. That's why I'm gonna say that.
Ensuring that the Houston Ship Channel is reopened once it's safe to do so.
Well, on that ship there is 100 of him. But
earlier in the response, the Unified Command stood up a waterside branch that was focused on Tucker's Bayou and the Houston Ship Channel. The Coast Guard, working with TCEQ and EPA, were overseeing the contracted oil spill response organization as they were engaged in operations to contain and recover the contaminants from the spill.
By the way, like I said before,
prior to yesterday's breach,
this is
they deployed over 3,000 feet of boom across and
it didn't stop it.
The outlay, as well as Tucker's Bayou, and also the entrance to Tucker's Bayou into the Houston Ship Channel.
This will be known in history as 9/11 Part 2, and this chemical is way more deadly and dangerous than any of that asbestos ever could have been. They did do an article, and people were asking about it, and then they debunked it. There was no asbestos in any of those tanks. There may have been in some of the fittings, but those have already since been changed. No asbestos is going to affect you from here. Something worse than asbestos is going to affect you from this spill. It burns holes in your lungs.
So had skimmers that have been actively removing the firefighting foam and contaminants. Once the release happened yesterday, that boom was able to contain much of the spill and the contaminants that were mentioned earlier. However, some of the product was able to get by the booms, and the Port of Houston Authority fire boats detected elevated levels of benzene.
And the gas went over it. Benzene.
Based on that,
benzene.
He detected benzene.
Hold tight. He just told you, because he can't give you an exact measurement, because then you'll want to give the government a hard time, and he's a representative of the government. However, I'm going to say something. He just told you that there were elevated levels of benzene. And this guy back here is holding his nose in his mouth. Okay? Going, oh man, he just said that. Okay? That means, oh, we're screwed. You see this? Okay?
So we're working with NOAA on spill trajectories. The Port of Houston Authority fireboats continue to do active monitoring, and last night,
he can't give you a level, but he's telling you the truth.
Deployed an additional 5,000 feet of boom for a total of 8,500 feet.
Brendan Dietrich put afternoon.
Today they're also going and booming off additional sensitive areas. As was mentioned, the battleship Texas, as well as Santa Ana Bayou, which are sensitive areas,
they had to shelter
had already
in place.
Been boomed off with exclusionary boom.
Those sailors had to shelter in place on that boat.
I will reopen the impacted portions of the ship channel once we're able to determine that hazardous conditions no longer exist, and we're able to recover any visible product that is on the waterway.
It's too bad that he is not a land-based entity. It is too bad that there's not a few of him. And we do have National Guard down there, but instead of being out there on the water stopping people from getting hurt, it's too bad that we haven't had an evacuation and had people 3 days ago the hell out of there, and people going to their houses on land. This guy's doing a good job on the water, though. He's doing the best he can. Those chemicals, you can't stop them, but he's doing the best he can.
At this time, I do not have an exact timetable for reopening the ship channel. As I mentioned before, our focus will be on the safety of the on-scene responders, mitigating any impact to the waterway.
He's going to stop people who are out there trying to test in little boats with gas masks on from doing it because they don't have full chemical suits. He's going to say, hey, look, stupid, get off the water. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. He's stopping people from hurting themselves because they don't know how these chemicals work. Somebody put, this is like a 9/11 waiting to happen. It's already happened. There's children that are bleeding from the nose and out of their lungs, and it's going to take years off their lives. They may die early. The parents will also be affected and die early because they were in the same room. They're just not as sensitive and not showing signs right now. These chemicals are the devil. They're concentrated, worse than anything you could happen to see. Yeah, evil. And Brenda Dietrich, when this goes up as a video, I'm going to want you to still frame it on the shot where I show this map that I made of the complex, and that is the one they were working on, and that's where the breach wall just happened to break and all the chemicals came out that were sitting in here all around this, okay? And then the fire happened and it all went up on fire. They may have, honestly, I don't know if they had lit it up, because I mean, to stop it from going to the channel. Who knows what is going on with this whole situation where it happened to break right next to this tank. But this is a map, and they're telling you, oh, 80-7, 80-8. This is 80-7 no matter how you orient it. So good, I will. Okay, so I'm gonna play this again.
And then opening the ship channel once we're able to safely do so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
I think we're ready to take a few questions.
Oh, we got questions. Anybody here got questions? Raise your hand if you got questions.
Yesterday, and many of them are terrified. So their question is, why a press conference almost 24 hours later?
That's a really good question. Yesterday was a day of unfolding events.
A day that will be being
we in
infamy.
Incident Command and Unified Command are working diligently to get the facts. And I will tell you, as
She's still working on getting the facts.
that happening, we saw that happening. So it's fast, it's moving quickly, and we're trying our best. Mayor, you may want to make a few comments on
They're going to
that.
make it better with hand motions. We're going to keep
Well,
it down.
on the
It's going to be
aspect of any
togetherness,
scenario,
people.
I'm just going to comment from my perspective. So, you know, my number one aspect is public safety, especially to my community surrounding. And I would add and validate that in some cases, I was here most of the day yesterday.
Waiting to get their lies straight.
If
Exactly.
you were in that setting, there
No,
was
I'm
a
tired and they're about to
scenario,
kick
not
my butt on this.
maximum
Can I
effort
defer to
being
you?
done, but
I'm tired. Hey, can he
reactiveness
answer
to
this question?
something
Hey,
where
man,
they
they're about
were
to.
trying
I can't even
remove the
touch this.
product,
Can
which
you
is
cover
my
me?
main focus. We got to get that dealt with.
The Harlem
And when the
Globetrotters.
dike broke,
Harlem
it was
Globetrotters
concerning
couldn't keep
all
a
of us.
basketball
And
away from someone this well.
It enacted a response.
An active
Very
response.
rapid response.
Yeah, no shit.
And-
well,
and
tell
so
us what you're
The
doing and what
concerns
the
that I'm
levels are.
sending here to you today are valid.
Oh, my God.
I've got the same concerns, but I want them to do their job and address these situations as they occur in any unfortunate.
We want to know what's going
pattern
on.
that
You guys are
happens.
supposed to be telling us.
Did that answer your question?
Can
Thank
you
you, Tim.
identify the contaminants that are in the water?
Contaminants in the water.
From the product?
Oh, ask for chemicals.
Yeah, exactly.
Ask them.
So the contaminants in the water mix are going to be a mixture of the products that were in the tanks before the event occurred, which is primarily
Well, wait. He might say something.
in that tank farm: gas blend stocks, naphtha, xylene, and pygas. So
Primarily,
it's
but he
hard
won't
to
tell you what's in the
pinpoint
other 8
percentages
ones.
of each of those in the water.
You know how many
because of
gallons
the
you had.
dynamics of the event.
Oh, my God.
And the dynamics of the damage to the vessels.
Hold on.
So it'd be
We're running a business. We had no idea how many gallons we had in any of those tanks. We have no idea what's in the 8 mystery tanks. We have no idea if it's all going to be pygas or if it's all going to be toluene or if you have to worry about xylene or naphtha or if it's all hexane, something we haven't told you about, a mystery gas we haven't even explained yet. So basically, not saying, that's going to be a mystery blend of our mystery blend that we have a patent on. No, man, it's past patent time. It's time to tell us what's in there so we know how it's going to affect us and how our health is going to go. That's what we need. And the doctors need you to tell them too, not just your little special doctors, but
difficult for me to give you exact percentages, but those will be the
no, it's not
components in the
difficult. You know how
When
many
it comes
gallons
to,
you
when it
had.
comes to the consequences of being reactive versus proactive.
This is yesterday all
describe
over
what those
again,
are.
the day before.
Yesterday you mentioned emptying the tank would take 8 to 12 hours. Is that still the timeline for that?
Hell no,
And
it's not the
just
timeline.
how
They stopped
does
pumping.
the danger just
8 to 12
expand when you
hours.
have to delay it?
So when you transition from proactive to reactive, you basically reset your command strategy, right? So where we were focused on moving the product to primary containment
Okay,
vessels,
this is true.
we had to basically stop all that activity to first and foremost in any incident command.
Can't
the
pump
number
off into
one
fire.
priority is the safety of the people.
Right.
So when you go from proactive to reactive, you stop to ensure safety, and then once everything is secure from a safety standpoint, you can start transitioning back to proactive. So it didn't necessarily change the overall risk. The situation is very similar to what it was yesterday when I spoke to you at 10 a.m. It just prolonged the timeline to get the product removal out of the tank.
How many barrels remain when it comes? Yesterday you mentioned 20,000
How many barrels?
One tank. I think total 60,000. How much remains, and how much maybe possibly spilled into Tucker Bayou?
I can't give you the estimate on the Tucker Bayou.
My bullshit
amount.
meter's going off.
I knew roughly what was in the tank farm yesterday. I told you we haven't been able to calculate exactly how much was still in the
They know how
container
many
wall.
was there. The
As
bullshit
far as
meter's going
product
off,
removal,
people.
We don't have a good gauge on it because we don't have any level instrumentation in that tank because of the damage to the farm.
Right here.
Okay, let me say something. If you have a small gas station and you sell gas to people, I don't care if you have a coffee shop, you know how many beans to the last bean is in the place. This guy's regulated and has to turn it into the government of exactly how many gallons he has, but he says he doesn't know how many gallons he has. Then what was you going to tell the government when they ask how many gallons you have? Come on. You're regulated. This will come out later. Tell us now. That's, man, oh my God.
You're saying there's a low risk to residents.
Low risk.
Closed parks and dozens of schools.
Closed parks, dozens of
What
schools.
exactly is the danger?
So what is exactly is the danger?
I am not a medical expert.
You're damn
so I
right
can't
you're not.
really educationally speak to the hazards of the
Oh.
contaminants in the air.
I'm not going to tell you nothing. That's what he just
ITC's
said.
focus is to not emit anything.
Oh,
that's
we're
our
focused on
ultimate goal,
stopping
is
the
to
leak.
never have
We're not here to
emissions.
tell you anything about it.
Unfortunately, during this event, we have had some. My job as incident commander is to do everything we can to ensure the safety of the employee
Okay.
and the safety of the community.
Then why are you standing before us? We want information and we have questions. Which one of you knows the answer? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so after waiting to get the lies straight, somebody commented, Rachel J, I hate vest guys so much. We got to be wearing our vests now, people. You got to stay safe. Okay, in a room with a bunch of people that don't need vests, this guy needs a vest. Okay, so, and then Brenda Dietrich put, the only thing they know how to do is try to cover their butts. They're not even covering their butts. Listen, they turned whoever it was that made the decision, and they turned off, they put LOL, they turned off the monitors after they went off and started going crazy at 5 a.m. They magically went down possibly for maintenance, but he didn't know at 5:08 when it started going off the charts. And so then the government had to go in just to have sensors that were on and working, because even though they're regulated by the government and have to have them sensors, they can hit a switch and turn them off. And then they say, oh, well, we went to our mobile. We have a mobile place. Okay, fine. What are the readings from the mobile? Well, we don't have those yet. Well, it's fluid. It's still working. They will not give you any of the data, but it gets out. And so that's why I put those measurements up there. Those were 3 different measurements, 3 different days. One was a 10 point something. That's so deadly, it'll kill you 3 times. It'll make you get back up and die again. That's how bad that is. I'm gonna let him lie some more. Hold on, and tell you why he can't answer. This guy can't answer, this guy can't answer. Now we're going to romper room. I see Jimmy and Johnny and Julie and Becky, and here's everybody. We're all introducing ourselves. Okay, it's time to go to lunch. Sorry people, we gotta go. No more questions. Watch this.
That's really my focus right now. It's just
That's his focus. Go get focused on that, dude.
Going forward.
Go focus on that.
Can any of the other partners comment on that?
Can anybody answer?
So in the event, so yesterday the focus was stabilizing the site, and then because we were doing monitoring downwind and in the community, had we come across any hazardous conditions, we would have notified the unified command and got that out to the stakeholders to make decisions.
But 2 days
Deer
before he
Park to
shows
shut down
up,
or
there
close
was some
schools,
bad stuff.
shelter in
And they
place,
should
or
have,
whichever community
they
is,
should
whether
have
it's
used
Channelview,
this as a guide,
any of those
like
areas.
it says.
So
and they
as
should
soon
have
as we find
evacuated.
hazardous situations, we communicate that and get that out to the community.
They communicated. These people didn't.
Closed yesterday. They're now being closed today.
Parks closed
That would
yesterday.
be based on the
closed today.
local authorities, us providing information to them. Here's some conditions that were observed, and they made the decision to.
But they won't tell
to take
you the conditions that
active
were
steps
observed.
to limit public access.
They're using words like conditions. We want.
Concern is greater today than it was yesterday.
We haven't, for today, we haven't had any results that showed hazardous conditions in the communities. It could have been out of an abundance of caution by the local government.
That's better
Mayor,
audio.
would you like to?
In the big context, when I left yesterday over at Harris County Management, Harris County Health, is monitoring this situation. I've been in close contact, and there's been very few decisions made in any scenario that hasn't been discussed with Harris County Health Management in regards to how it's impacting the community. The concern to...
Okay, so that's so bad that they're not giving you, okay, it's so bad that they're telling the different city municipalities, those officers and stuff, what's going on, and it's so bad that they're deciding to keep even places closed that weren't closed yesterday. So the lady says, is it worse today than it was yesterday? And he says, well, we're giving information on the situation to local city municipalities, and they're making a decision based on what we tell them. But yet it's so bad that they're closed up, but they won't tell us what those levels were. They won't tell us anything. But they're giving, oh, there's lots of information, and they're saying, we have sensors everywhere. We've got all these mobile sensors, these kind of sensors. I can tell you if the pizza guy brought that pizza and what the temperature was whenever it reached the doorstep. But I can't tell you, the people, we can't tell you. We just tell our little people, and we've been talking about, we've been sensing, and we're monitoring the situation. They're monitoring this situation so good that they have no data that they've monitored from the situation. You get nothing, people, but this.
Until this product is out of that holding basing and out of that...
Now, he's the mayor. He's not supposed to know this stuff.
There is concern,
but
because anything that's going to be done out there is going to impact it. After I got back yesterday from Harris County Emergency Management, I went up in a helicopter to view the scene yesterday evening right before dark. What their main focus was doing thermal imaging to try to get as accurate of a data, of a reading of what's going on in that situation so they can manage it.
We want
There's
air
still
monitoring.
A lot of heat in there, and it makes it difficult to deal with.
A lot of heat.
But from my perspective,
yeah,
as
it's a
mayor,
fire.
The questions I'm asking,
it's got a lot of heat.
Until all of that is dealt with and gone, there's a certain level of risk. I don't think that's unfair to say that I have concerns with, but in every decision that's being made, obviously, every entity, a local municipality, we're all working together very hard to make sure we minimize that to the best of our ability.
What did he just even say? What the hell did he even just say? Somebody made a comment, sorry I must go, thank you for what you're doing, stay safe. Yeah, take off, Hot Rod, look, we got this, and you can watch it on the replay. I'm just saying, what did this guy even say? What did he even say? You know, I went up in a helicopter and we used thermal imaging to see how hot it was. Well, that's good for firefighters' data. We don't give a shit about how hot the fire was. It's a fire, it's hot. It's not going to melt down houses next to it. It's going to be like a nuclear meltdown when the chemicals get in there to the houses next to it. We want to know what the chemicals are in the mystery tanks. We want to know how many gallons actually released. We want to know what the public risk is from each single chemical, and when they mix them all together, what happens, even if you have to extrapolate on that, and it's never been done before, because they're all basically now, this is a forbidden experiment on people and with a bunch of chemicals that's never been mixed before. Let's take all the most deadly chemicals ever and mix them all in a soup, put some foam on it, and let it break through the wall and go down into the channel, and let the gases go out into the neighborhoods, and let's see what happens. We've secretly replaced this deadly gas with a mixture. Let's see if they notice. It's like the coffee commercial. So this guy, like I said, what we need is to know what the readings were. When you went up in the helicopter, was there air reading gauge up there? I bet there was. Why aren't you telling us the levels? Because it's off the charts and people should get out of there, but you're not telling them that. So I'm just going to play some more here. Lining up to get the family tested. Ooh, how many people is what? Wait. I may have missed something.
I'm asking that you're asking. Until all of that is dealt with,
I want to see how many people
gone,
she says
there's a certain
were lining
level
up.
of risk.
Tens of thousands probably by now.
I don't think that's unfair to say that I have concerns with, but in every decision that's being made, obviously, every entity, a local municipality, we're all working together very hard to make sure we minimize that to the best of our ability.
I have a question for residents that are lining up to get their families tested for human symptoms. Say to those residents that are quite honestly scared to...
She says, I have a question for people who are lining up to get tested because they're basically their kids are sick and bleeding from their nose and all this stuff. What do you say to these people? That's what she just said, because it was so soft in the background.
Their concerns are valid to some extent. We've been working
To
again
some
with Harris
extent,
County Health, and they've
it's
had
valid.
their mobile units in Deer Park to try to do the best we can to address them situations. It's such a fluid scenario.
Oh wait, it's fluid again.
If you ask me, I wish this event would have been over with days ago. And my focus is, let's get to the end of how do we minimize this risk as quickly as possible. That's why I'm here right now. I'm asking the hard questions in there because I want it done as soon as possible.
We want the hard
They
answers.
can't do it fast enough for me. In any scenario they do, and when I start asking questions, as an example, in the last few days, I'm having to ask someone when an engineer is explaining to me what's going, can you explain
We
that
want
to
that
me
engineer
now
on
and ask
television.
someone else, because it's a very high-level technical aspect of what they're dealing with. Because from my presumption, I don't understand that. I just want it gone. I want it dealt with. I don't want any public health impact any more than what may have already occurred.
I have a question for Brent Weber. Thank you. It sounds like the maximum efficiency that you can pump out is 20,000 barrels in about 12 hours. Is that correct?
20,000 barrels.
With that one
12
pump.
hours.
Okay.
With one
Do
pump.
you have the ability to bring in more pumps to get this done quickly?
We do have additional equipment on site. Our main focus was 80-7. We have multiple pumps,
I'll
but
read that in a
because
second.
of the dynamics of the situation, it's a little bit harder to get into some areas of the tank farm compared to 80-7. So we are working multiple plans simultaneously with multiple resources.
Let me say this. It is my understanding and belief, however, I've been wrong in the past and I could be wrong in this instance, but it is my understanding that each one of these right here, okay, low battery here, make sure that's plugged up right. It is my understanding, is it plugged up? Oh, really? Hold tight. I'm going to unplug this one and put it right into direct. That's what I'll have to do. I have no choice. If I lose it, I'll start it again. I don't even care. Be a whole nother live. Let's see what we can do. That should be good. Okay, so here's the thing. It is my understanding that out of this tank farm, each one of these individual tanks has a hookup that goes to a jetty that will reach out into the bay where a ship can hook up to it. Those ships are very large and they will hold 330,000 gallons. Buy a ship, hook it up to each individual tank, dump it into that ship, and call it a day. Call this plan D, because ABC and what it has not worked so far. I'm still getting low battery. We'll see what happens. But it is charging.
Well, that's one of the questions I've been asking, because my perception, we got one pump, why not have 10 pumps, right? From the way I understand it. But there's a lot of dynamics that
Buy a oil
break down
tanker,
my
a
understanding,
big boat,
simply from the fact of
330,000 gallons.
to get people in there.
Pump it off
And I'm
into
not
it.
speaking as an expert, but my
What's it about
concerns
you?
are being asked.
Please ask your question.
And shut it down.
Channel 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's now day 7. People at home are frustrated. It's been a roller coaster.
Day 7.
We got that first responders are doing all that they can. But these people have to shelter in place and say they're not getting transparency early on about what was in the
As
air.
soon as they don't-
What is the worst
No.
that could possibly happen? I know that you guys said since
What's the
there's
worst
no
that could
phones
possibly
there,
happen?
you guys don't have everything secure. There's a possibility of maybe something we could tell the public at home. What else can they expect from this site?
What you can expect is for ITC to maintain our focus on the safety of the work area and the incident area, for us to continue working with our agency partners to develop plans with multiple resources for ITC and the Unified Command to use every resource the mayor, the Coast Guard, the EPA, the TCEQ offers me. I've yet to tell somebody no when they've offered me a resource.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna address this. Shelter in place at this point should be called sit there and take it. Listen to what I'm saying, people. This is an ongoing event that they have zero control over. That gas is out, it's floating, it's everywhere, and it's happening. And it's coming down in rain as soon as it rains. It's the weekend. go find a beach at another state. I mean, maybe South Texas, whatever you want to do. Get out of there. Go to Dallas. See what Dallas is all about. I'm telling you, sleeping at night in the low ceiling, and it's killing you with kindness because they care about you. Listen to what I'm saying, people. As soon as there's not a shelter in place, and they're not saying there's any reason you can't go outside, go outside. Go as far outside as you can get. This is going to continue. This is going to continue for at least a couple of weeks. You're probably not going to be able to go to work anyways. You might as well go and get out of there and maybe not shave any more years off your life. This is what I'm telling you. Okay? It's not me saying this. It's the book that this is bad stuff. Okay? They should be telling you to evacuate, but they're not. Call it a vacationate. Go on vacation. You can't afford to stay. In this situation, go broke if you have to. $50 a night, 3 or 4 nights in a hotel, wherever. Sleep in your car at the rest area. That's what I told the other guy the other night. You're better off sleeping in your car at the rest area than going home and being affected by this stuff. And then even then, the residual could be in your carpet and all this stuff. I don't know how it's affecting. And if you have babies, let them sleep in the bed with you so they're higher up and they don't come crawling looking for you and then walk in that gas and then fall over dead halfway to your bedroom. You understand what I'm saying, people? They're lower to the ground and they breathe that air where the gas pools. And the gas will pool in basements. Don't go in your basement. You understand what I'm saying? Don't go in your basement. Not till you can fan that stuff out, blow it out. If it's down there, you don't want to take no chances. Don't go into manholes. If that's your job and you're some kind of a city whatever, don't go into manholes till you pump them out. They have a way to do that. And even then it's dangerous, and it's dangerous for your skin. This stuff even touches your skin. Like I said, this stuff is so bad. So I'm gonna go back to this. Pardon me if I feel like I need to put this in here, but they're giving you zero information, and I'm trying to give you as much information as I can and to address the stuff they're not addressing to my limited ability. But we need an engineer, a doctor, and we need definitely a chemist. We need the damn chemist that made this stuff. We need some MSDS sheets. We need the readings of the air, in what area, how much readings was the highest. We need to know that. I think that they don't want to give us that definitely from the company, because then it will be proof that they can use in a lawsuit later that said, nope, we got the reading right here, it affected us. They need to give the readings for our public health and so that people will know not to go to that area in a truck and sleep. They need to know so they won't haul tank loads of stuff in and out of those places, and they need to know so that they won't live there and stay there and just go on, just get out of there, people. I've been telling it for 3 days. This is going to go on, and every single night there's going to be a leak. Every single night it's going to come to your doorstep. And even if your children haven't been affected yet, they could have been affected and they're not showing signs. But some of these places, these kids, they're telling you, they're screaming for help. They're in their parents' arms and they're bleeding from the nose and they can't move and they have diarrhea and they have all these symptoms, and it's done damage to them. It's taken years off their lives. I'm telling you, it's not wise. It's worse than Russian roulette. It's going to happen. The gas, they don't talk about the breathable gas that's like oxygen, not liquid gasoline, but that came flowing out on top of that stuff when that wall broke too. It was holding back a lot of that. They might have put a hood on that tank, but every time it leaks, some of it's held back by that wall. It just came rushing out and went over the water on the bay, and that's why they had to put a shelter in place on that ship out there. It's not because of anything in the water. It's because the gas that rode on top of it, that's breathable gas, and just riding along across as far as it can go. It's not going to just dissipate and the world can just handle it. This is bad stuff. I'm playing it again. Oh, and by the way, there was one more comment though. Rachel J put, exactly, give us an engineer, a chemist, someone who knows something. We need that. So
the key to maintaining the fires is the foam layer. I've told y'all that repeatedly. Yesterday when the tank wall broke, we lost some of the foam layer, which is what we believe led to the fire. So our focus has always been maintain the foam layer, prevent the fire from reoccurring, so we can stay in a proactive mode and not go back to a reactive mode. If you're asking me how many days, I can't give you that answer right now. I wish I could, but I cannot give you that answer right now.
Whoa, hold on. Watch what she just said. She wanted to get away from that reporter, and she says, next question, anybody but her. Please give me a question, anybody but her. that reporter is asking the right things and they don't want to give that info. I'm actually going to rewind it just a bit so we can. Where are we at? Oh, it's going to mess with me for a second here. Hold tight, people. This will take a half a second. Here we go.
From the containment wall breach, we were focused on getting the foam layer established as quickly as we possibly could, but that's when the fire reignited. So we have the equipment.
Wait,
the equipment's there.
That's too far ahead. I'm working on it. Okay. It's doing this thing here that it does on me, and I'm working on it. Okay. Whew, man. There we go.
Does danger just expand when you have to delay it?
So
there we go, one more time.
Mayor, you may want to make a few comments on that.
Well, on the aspect of in any scenario, I'm just going to comment from my perspective. So
let's see. It's really, like I said, I could play everything they do, and
the dynamics of the damage to the vessels. So it'd be difficult for me to give you exact percentages, but those will be the components in the water.
And when it comes to the consequences of being reactive versus proactive, describe what those are, because yesterday you mentioned emptying the tank would take 8 to 12 hours. Is that still the timeline for that?
Oh, we were already here.
How...
We're already here on the 8 to 12 hours.
ITC's focus is to not emit anything. You know, that's our ultimate.
As to how it's impacting the community. The concern today is the same concern I had yesterday, and until this product is out of that holding basing.
Okay, we passed him up, and then this guy. They're jumping around, I can tell you that.
ITC's focus is to not emit anything. You know, that's our ultimate goal, is to never have emissions. Unfortunately, during this event, we have had some. My job as Incident Commander is to do everything we can to ensure the safety of the employees and the safety.
Man, let me go further. It's just, you know,
to make sure we minimize that to the best of our ability.
Man.
Yeah, ours is the foam layer. I've told y'all that repeatedly.
Okay, he told us that repeatedly. Here we go.
Broke, we lost some of the foam layer, which is what we believe led to the fire. So our focus has always been maintain the foam layer, prevent the fire from reoccurring, so we can stay in a proactive mode and not go back to a reactive mode. If you're asking me how many days, I can't give you that answer right now. I wish I could, but I cannot give you that answer.
Wait, one more, because somebody asked 5 questions. Let me get a third. So talk about the waterway. I know that some of the product did spill into the water. Is there a threat to wildlife or anything else in the water?
Of course there is.
I think it'd be best for TCEQ to answer that.
Okay, TCEQ started doing water quality sampling on the 19th. That sample turnaround is about 2 or 3 days. We just now got preliminary results. As some folks were saying, it's about everything you would expect from a petrochemical fire. And we've got our experts analyzing the data.
At least he's telling you it's going to be 2 to 3 days.
Preliminary results are up.
He's even going to give the preliminary results.
That data
That's good.
Out there, we're going to put it on our website.
That's good.
And if y'all don't know, TCQ actually has a page for ITC fire response. And that's where all of our data, both from air quality monitoring and also this water quality samples that should be up to date, that's where everything is going. Just Google ITC TCQ response, and it's one of the first things that pops up.
Alice, earlier this week I asked you about the number of claims that have been filed through the website. Do you have a number? I never received an answer for that.
No, we do not have a number at this point in time.
Hundreds, thousands, a couple?
I could not tell you.
And then what substantiates a claim then? Can you clarify that for viewers? Is it I have a headache, I'm going to file a claim? Can you specify what substantiates a claim?
So we are asking anyone who is experiencing any symptoms to file the claim. We're setting up people
and they want to settle it as fast as possible.
But that's the only information I have right now. So if
and then you sign away your rights to sue them.
And when it comes to the Texas Attorney General filing a lawsuit or
Texas Attorney General,
lawsuit along with the governor, what's ITC's response to that?
Anybody? I don't work with you.
I'm allowed to really discuss active litigation.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
I had a question for Brent. Brent, I spoke with the mother of a guy who was working on the site yesterday. She said he related to her when the fire started. They were very scared and they were surprised, and for a moment they thought they were trapped on the site. Can you describe to what degree the reignition was a surprise, and explain precisely what risk to the members of the site there was at that time?
Okay, let me answer the first one. Was the fire a surprise?
That noise is
In
on
some
there.
regards, the fire was a surprise. However, we had equipment staged. We have been maintaining the foam layer the best we could in the tank farm to prevent the chances of reoccurrence. Once the foam layer was basically taken away from the containment wall breach, we were focused on getting the foam layer established as quickly as we possibly could, but that's when the fire reignited. So we have the equipment's there, the foam's there, we have firefighters, we have every firefighter
And we still can't do the
resource
job
in the area, including SEMA responders who have done a magnificent job. We have third-party firefighters on scene that are doing a magnificent job.
Yeah, the
and ITC
firefighters are good to put your shit
on
out
scene
every
that
time you
continue
let it go
just
back up.
to really work hard to mitigate
But
this.
you're not telling us what's in it.
What?
What was the risk to them at the time of the reignition?
The risk of fighting a fire, I'm not a firefighter, right?
Oh my God, you know the risk of the chemicals.
The risk of fighting a fire is the same when you fight any fire, you know. Industrial fires are just like any other fire. Those guys are trained. You know, we train.
This is not like any other fire. What was the risk to them chemical-wise? He's trying to say what was in the chemicals.
Speak to a firefighting expert to talk about the hazards of fighting a fire.
So after yesterday's fire, how many tanks now need to be drained?
How many tanks?
The same number
13.
of tanks need to be drained as yesterday. But we have refoamed the entire tank.
He won't say a number.
Every tank.
They're stuck on
We've
8.
done it multiple times through the night.
It's 13
and we will
people.
continue to
I
foam
drew
the
a
tank
map.
in the tanks.
I drew a map.
When you
It's
see the wind
13.
blowing like this right now,
2 not affected.
obviously wind shifting
15 total.
creates danger. What is your concerns regarding weather? Because winds are obviously picking up at the moment.
We have additional firefighting foam equipment apparatus set up around the perimeter to address the wind. We've been talking about that all morning, making sure we're on top of the wind, the weather, and we will continue to stage equipment and additional equipment as we need to.
He's on top of the wind. Wow.
No, we do not. The investigation will reveal that.
The rain's going to make
Rain is one of the things that affects the foam layer. I think we covered that yesterday.
Rain is going to make the foam layer break away from that tank, and then they're going to have to refoam an entire layer. There's going to be another leak of that hexane. I want to see. Hold on a second. The really bad stuff here, but it's all bad stuff. Hexane. I guess. Let's see. Benzene. Benzene is what's going to leak out of that tank. Possible toluene and all the other chemicals that were leaked around the thing are going to wash now. It's going to clean out the complex. Let me show you what's going to happen when it rains. When it rains, it's going to wash, you know, just like the itsy bitsy spatter they're doing up here with all their hand motions. It's going to, out came the rain and wash all the chemicals out. It's going to wash them all out right through that. And I understand that they're trying to reinforce that hole or whatever. It's going to find its way out. Trust me, people, this is not something they can stop. They have zero control over the situation. They've proven it. They need to hook up to the whatever fittings they have that goes to hoses, send it down to the jetties that the big tanker oil tankers that hold 330,000 gallons max can hook into, and pump it right back down there. And then when they fix all this mess, they can pump it up and they can centrifuge it and separate it, or they can just destroy all of it somehow. But it's honestly, it's a mess anyhow. It's no good to save. Quit trying to save the chemical and start trying to save the people. You know what I'm saying? Do the quick, dirty way, and then you'll have a tanker that you might not be able to use it for anything else because it's had nasty, you know, chemicals in it, hazardous materials that's no good for mixing with gas or whatever. But you'll get this mess cleaned up. That's what I'm saying. So here we go.
If you can imagine, if a foam barrier drops rain or hitting it, it will take the foam layer.
Anybody wants to make fun of
like
my plan?
Keep the foam
their
sprayed.
plan hasn't worked so far.
Keep the foam sprayed.
That's where I'm at.
Any other questions?
What's the worst that could happen? It might actually work, right?
Water safety aspect of it. People are obviously, your parks have been closed down, but people still get down there. What's the immediate response to people's water concerns regarding drinking the water, just being out there, whatever it may be?
I'll talk to the commercial side, and then I'll turn it over to Mayor to talk about drinking water. So yesterday,
Bottled water,
as I
people.
mentioned, I closed the port. We also suspended cargo operations on the opposite side of ITC docks from Cargill to CMEX facilities because we're concerned with the elevated cargo, elevated benzene levels. So that's the biggest concern right now. And then we're advising them to adhere their local authorities' guidance in terms of shelter in place as well. So out of an abundance
and once
of
they're
caution,
done
we're
with the
concerned
shelter in
about
place,
not only about the on-scene.
Once they're done with shelter in place, I'm going to give a recommendation based on my knowledge. Okay, again, I'm going to tell you to vacation in some other place. I don't care what it costs you. You get your kids and your family out of there.
The on-scene responders, but also the crew members that are on, and the workers that are in the.
It's going to happen every night, especially when it rains at night.
Question, I missed some of it, was specifically for the waterways where the...
You're off Monday, people. I just gave you the day off.
Seeing this stuff
Take off.
roll into waterways.
So again, I can only address what we're doing in the city of Deer Park, and we started water testing, which probably Wednesday or Thursday.
Don't go from
which
Deer
takes
Park to
about
Houston.
3
Go from Deer Park to
days,
Dallas,
and so we're
or
spending
Deer Park
that
to
information
somewhere
out in
else.
regards to the city of Deer Park. I can't comment to any other ones, but I know there is that same pattern going on throughout the region where any kind of testing in regards to assuring the public safety that our drinking water and our air is being done. In some aspects, I can only control to some extent what's going on in the city of Deer Park. But that effort is being made, I can assure you, because I've been on calls every day with all the local municipalities around here in the Harris County, and everyone's doing the same pattern in regards to addressing them concerns.
Real quick, just someone with ITC, what would you say your number one concern is about what could happen later today in the next 24 hours?
Our number one concern the entire time is going to be the safety of the responders and the safety of the people.
His number one concern, and the reason he's there, is he needs to make sure that she doesn't see anything that makes them legally liable to lose all the lawsuits that are coming, even though they're going to try to sell the place, change the name, and rewrap it under another brand, and change name of, you know, that's what chemical companies do. And then his main concern is to make sure that he gets the money from his company that they paid him to stand up there and do that stuff, so that he can then move to, I don't know, have an offshore account at some Azores or some island somewhere, and he's going to be working on his tan while everybody else is working on their health.
Working around the area. I can't, you know, I think about unknowns, and I can think about things that happen, and that's part of my job as incident commander. I got to think ahead of people.
Let me tell you what's
with the
up.
help of my agency.
He's an incident commander, okay? So if there's no incident, he could easily just be being paid just for this one job, and then he splits or goes to the next incident, and that's fine and good. It gives him no accountability. He's not going to live in this town probably even later. He may go from one incident to another. Maybe they have different companies. You know, who knows what this guy's job actually, you know, he's not the safety manager. He's just incident commander at the time. It's like a post. It's like you've been appointed to this for now. Kind of like if you have a nuclear reactor and you need someone to come in from outside that does a special job, or just like them crack firefighters that crack shot team that came in from Louisiana, that is their job. Or if, you know, a train is derailed, they have an incident response people that come in as outside people. They fix it and then they leave. I don't know. Like I said, he doesn't even know he don't need his vest right here, and it's really crazy.
Who have been tremendous to think about what could happen and what my plan is to deal with that. So our number one concern, safety. It will continue to be safety. That's our first goal as a company, and that's our first core value. And Adam, every morning EPA always says the main focus is safety, 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 safety.
Safety, safety, safety is their main goal. That's why they turned off 47 monitors at 5:08 a.m. the other day when the readings went off the chart at 5 a.m. They turned off all the monitors at 5:08, and they were questioned by the reporter how come it went off, and the guy says, I don't know, maybe it was routine maintenance or something. They go off sometimes. He says it's an inopportune time for that to have happened. That's ridiculous. And I've said this a few times, but the point is, safety is their goal. That's why they turn off monitors.
So we'll do whatever we can to make sure people are safe.
Anyone have any more questions? We have a press release that you're welcome to have a copy of.
What's your next
I wonder if that press release has any of the levels or the chemicals or MSDS sheet, anything that would be useful to
Thank
the
you
public.
all for getting the information out. Thank you all for getting accurate information out. We appreciate the time you're taking to spend with us. Thank you.
This gentleman right over there with the red lantern on his back.
This may be in Spanish, but we're going to see what's happening with this. Okay, so people, they have not, and they are now being made to have their feet to the fire by the EPA. However, they did not go by the book, and they're still not telling you that there's going to be a leak when it rains. There's going to be a leak every time the level goes down. It's going to come to your house and it's going to make your children's nose bleed, and you're going to have breathing problems, and it's going to take years off your life. There's going to be more problems, and they never evacuate. I don't know, man. Are they trying to kill us all? Like I said, look, it's really crazy. I can't tell you how unimpressed I am by their reaction, other than the fire department's doing a great job, okay? All those guys, they are heroes. They're out there just like the tanker guy that usually pumps stuff off and is in a chem suit doing his job. They're doing their job, and they are, you know, safely trying to take care of everything. However, at the same time, we need someone else doing a different job. We need them telling us these chemicals. There's 8 tanks they're not talking about, and he never wanted to admit that there was 13, even though you can clearly see, okay, by all of the videos and everything, that there are 13. It's a 15 tank little bitty complex, a little bitty part of the complex. These down here past this line, I drew them too, those are unaffected. These are all except for the right 2 affected, and that's the one that just happens to be where a 10-foot section of wall, a 10-foot section of wall fell over, and all that stuff come pouring out, and it basically drained where all the tanks are at. Was it so they could get to a valve? Was it so they could get a hose through the wall? I don't know. They said they replaced the wall. Was it to get the chemicals out of their way? I don't know. It went into a big ditch and all caught on fire. We got questions about the whole situation. There's the channel down this way. That's west towards Houston, the way that the wind blows. And this is the complex. So this is 80-7 they keep talking about. And no matter how you look at it, that has to be correct. Because I'll show you here, if I can get this phone out of my other hand, I'll show you how this works, people. Look, like I said before, anyone who can count could have looked at the aerial view, but I did this for a reason, okay? What you got here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're calling that 80-7. 80 is this square area here with these. This is part of their tank farm. That is 80, tank number 7, okay? And 80-7 is the one that's leaking the gas benzene and all other kind of chemicals, but that benzene is one that they're saying also is you know, deadly to people at so many parts per million. And it happens to be the one next to the breach. So this is the north wall. So if you orient it this way, that's north. So that's what I got. I could easily figure out which one of these other ones in about 15 minutes of watching some of their other videos that they've said. I could easily figure out if this is 80-1, but I think honestly that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think this is 80-1. It doesn't matter. 80-1 is the one that contained naphtha. 80-2 would be gas blend stock. 80-3 is another gas blend stock, okay? But this one's xylene, okay? Xylene. This one here, 80-4, is one of the mystery ones. 80-5 is xylene. 80-6 is a mystery one, okay? 80-7, or I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is, so then 7, 80-8, who knows, maybe it's the toluene or hexane, okay, that's 80-8, 80-9. You could just call this 80-10 and it's okay, okay. 80-11, 80-12, 80-13, that one would be okay, all right. 80-14, mystery chemical, could be deadlier than any of them and they won't tell you. It could be more naphtha, could be more of the benzene chemical, could be more of their magical pi mix that they won't call pi gas, but now they're just wanting to call it generic gas blend stock, right? And that'd be the 80-14, 80-15. So out of 15 tanks, 13 were completely burnt and damaged. This one is half full. Rest of these still have stuff in them. So I've got a little more, one other one that I wanted to go to, but it really doesn't matter. I've got that aerial view. People, they won't tell you levels, and they're saying there's websites that give you instant data. That instant data is not like, hey, what was it at 2 this morning whenever I was bleeding from my nose and everything. They need to tell you when they spike. They need a graph. How about a graph, people? Look, how about this? Here's what we'll do. The next thing that I draw for my next one, because I'm bringing you intel and they're not, how about this one? How about I make a graph and then I'll show you the times that they reported on the news that there was this, that, or the other at different times. And what I'll do is this. Here's what we got. This is a graph. It just hasn't happened yet. You know, how about that, right? So for a graph, what do you need? You need a line this way, okay? And you need a line this way. All right, so on a graph, what you're going to do is you're going to say this was day 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. This is going to be, let's see. You're going to say, to make it make sense here, the levels going up, you're going to have to go day 1, between day 1 and day 2. No, here's how we're going to have to do it. I know how we're going to do it. We're going to need 12 hours in a day. 1, okay, 0, 0, 100. Then we'll make this 0, 0, 0, 0 on day 1. We're going to need a lot more charts than this. Okay, so day 1 at 0, 0, 100, and then 0, 100 in the morning, 0, 200, 0, 300. At 0, 400 on day 1, something happened. The levels were 0, and then they jumped up to God knows who what, right? We'll find that out later. We're going to call this right here danger level. Anything over 1. This is going to be a 1. This is going to be a 2, 3, 4. I don't know. Go all the way up to, just call this, I'm going to have to call this a 8. Then at some point 9, 10, so 5 and 6 and 7. You know, it's a mess right now. This is just my first one. So take a look. I could do this in 5 seconds, right? And I could give you this intel in 5 seconds and they're giving you nothing. So it spiked like crazy on day 1 at about 4 in the morning, and then at 5 it went up to 10 or more, maybe off the chart. Then it stayed there and they turned off the sensors right here at 5:08, 05:08. Since then, we've gotten no readings from here to here. What happened in the meantime and in between time, and what's up in this magical mystery cloud up here? And how many chemicals were there? You know, that's what you're going to have to do to find this out, is do the legwork yourself, because they're giving you 0. I'm going to go through it. I'll go through it later. People, like I said, I'm doing the best I can to figure this out, and using my knowledge as, you know, previously doing that kind of stuff. You know, it's crazy. They should have communicated the risk, and in this book alone it says evacuate. You know, it basically 1 mile, get out, minimum. Then it goes to 4, then it goes to 5, then it goes to 10 and 100 if you need. It's a big event. They need to plan accordingly. You know, the status quo it can't continue. They already kicked everybody off the complex and said they don't go to work. It's for a reason, you know, and they should have done that day 1 for the people that live around there, you know, not just the ones that work at that facility. It's not just a shelter in place just for that company. It's for everybody. This book says everybody out, you know? So, all right. We'll go further here. Like I said, I'm going to check something out real quick. I'm going to see if there's any more. Finally, these guys shut off their trucks next to me, and I can just roll down my windows a bit and get some cooler air and cool off. Boy, maybe I was getting a little bit heated. Oh, look at that. It showed my picture. I'm not able to upload thumbnails because of something with my device, and I'm working on it. I'm low budget here, people. I'm just doing what I can. So, anyways, let's see if I can go into their site and see if they put any more news up, and then see if maybe ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, anybody like that, and then I'll just show, because there's a reason they need to give levels. They need to talk about levels. Maybe someone is. Maybe we're just not finding it. Maybe we have to dig deeper, people. You know, find that one news report. Like I said, I've got a few of them that talk about something. I'll go here. I'll turn it all the way down. And then I'm going to go just to the website. And I'm going to check that out. See if they have a link that they put up as a video. On closure. Why does that say no views? What now? Watch live officials give update. No views. Is that the same one? Live stream offline. 2 are waiting. This is an upcoming event. When is it going to come up? Huh. When is this supposed to happen? Officials give update on cleanup at ITC storage facility. Is that not the one that we just... What is it? The last live was 5 hours ago. Huh. Maybe they've got a new one that they're wanting to put something out after they've ate lunch. That's not the full press conference. This is a new live event coming up. Live stream offline. It's an upcoming event. There's 2 waiting. It's not comment available. So I'm going to give you people this before I get off, in case I have to get off and can't bring it to you. Go to YouTube and check out this watch live here, and it says watch live. It's KHOU11. KHOU11. Okay, that's the name of the channel, and it says here there's a watch live stream online, but it says upcoming event. So upcoming event means it hasn't happened yet. Not that it's been recorded or anything else. It's just not happened. Look, upcoming event. Kind of crazy, right? I'll tell you what. There's This is crazy. This is crazy, man. I don't know why they're not. Why do they have an upcoming event planned? Yeah. 8 hours ago, 7 hours ago, 4 hours ago. Playlist community about 42,624. That's crazy, right? Community channels. I got nothing. This upcoming event is coming up, and I'm going to see if there's anything else that they've put up. I'll search under Texas Fire. I mean, people are watching me because there's not much on it. I get that, you know. So, shelter in place was lifted a day ago, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. That's old stuff. 2.6. 3 days ago. Alright. So, people, I'm going to give you a link to another channel too, but let's see. Fox 10, 3 days ago. 5 days ago. Yeah, I got nothing. I'll put the links up when I can, and I don't know when this live's going to happen because it just says upcoming event, and there's 2 people waiting, and it says last stream was live 5 hours ago. So the one that I showed was 5 hours ago, I guess. It's not. It's that's what it's giving me. It could come up at any second, or it could come up later. If you want to make comments, go ahead. I'm just going to turn on the music for a sec, and I'll answer some comments. If you have questions for me, knock yourself out. I'm right here. I can handle it. But I'm gonna tell you something. Don't question. You know, it's in the book. You know what I'm saying? So beat me up if you want to, but it's in the book. Let's see. Crazy, and I'm having some coffee. I'm gonna chill for a sec. Was this informative? Was this helpful? Let me know where I'm at, people, because I think it needs to be said, and I did a pretty good graph of the tank farm. I don't know of anybody that's giving you any intel on this, and there's a magical missing, I'm gonna have to do that timeline, but there's missing intel, not just on those sensors they shut off, all 47 of them that they just, you know, shut off. Hey, let's do that. But there's also, there's missing information on 8 tanks. 8 tanks don't exist. They don't know how many gallons they kept on the complex. I find your streams very informative. I appreciate what you are doing. Well, I appreciate it because I had to actually, in order to right the ship, I had to stop and stick my oar in the water and turn it hard. So understand that I'm not working right now. I'm doing this. I'm fixing to get back to work, but understand I'm taking time to do this because I think it needs to be done now so these people have some kind of inkling. But you need to go get checked out of a doctor, even if you had any kind of acute symptoms, any kind of something that's not right with you, people. If you're not breathing correctly, but you're better now, you've had damage done to you that you don't know about. Go ahead and get seen by a doctor so that it's noted legally. And then later, if it affects you in a few weeks, sometimes this stuff affects you later. That way you can make them pay for it, you know, and make them figure out. And they may say, say 6 years from now or 6 months from now, they may say, hey, we have something that can help counter the effects of that. I don't know, you know, I'm not a medical doctor, but they're not telling you what's in here, you know, none of it. So earlier on this video, you need to go back and look. All this talking, I need some water. You need to go back and look earlier in this video where I held this up, and you can do a better screenshot of that, and then share my video on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere you want to put it. This is all based on my knowledge as a truck driver with hazmat that has pumped off that nasty stuff before out of a tanker. Point blank. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about things I don't know about. What I'm not talking about is what the chemists need to talk about. The chemists are trained in their job. They need to tell with the MSDS sheets and their knowledge of these things. They have a book. They have a book, you know. The fire department has a thicker book than this. How about a firefighter get that bigger book and come and talk about it, you know? But we need, I don't care what you do. Look, if you are an ambulance driver and you have some knowledge of what to do in this event, give these people some ideas, because if they wake up at 4 in the morning and they can't even call the helpline until 8 a.m., give them some kind of an idea of what to do in the event that this affects them and that their kids are bleeding, you know, for no reason, just gushing blood. This is crazy. This is crazy. Don't know, I'm gonna chill for a minute, like I said. Make the comments, people, and you know, I don't know, I'm just about past it, because there's no reason for it. It's just like if I was up there at 9/11, I'd been handing out gas masks. Here's your mask, put this on, wipe that mess off your face. And by the way, a gas mask does nothing if you don't shave. Just like I said, you got to shave that beard and that mustache off completely and have a gas mask ready. This is bad. This is the worst type of bad. And it's all of the chemicals ever to be chemical that are leaking, and it's the fumes, that type of gas, that you got to worry about. It doesn't matter about did it flow to your doorstep. The gas is odorless, colorless, and it affected that one reporter, and they will watch her slowly die online on television. They will watch it affect her for however many years it takes. A few, 5, 10, 20, don't know. You'll watch her gradually decline, and it'll play out on TV because they had her down there reporting with no PPE on. Personal protective equipment. If you don't know that, it's a, you know, a breather. The gas mask would work down there, just the face, you know, over your nose and mouth kind. But for anybody that's going through a cloud of that stuff and there's no oxygen to be had, you can still suffocate even with a gas mask on. You have to have a scuba, SCBA. We call it scuba, even though you're not underwater. Firefighters have a full scuba and a hood that goes over their head to not let anything around their face and touch their skin. The cleanup from this is going to be hundreds of years from now. There's no way. They won't admit how many gallons they have, because they find them by the ton, or by the pound, but by the ton too. So they don't want to tell how many gallons are in the tank farm. They don't want to tell what's in the tank farm. 8 mystery tanks. That must be some really good stuff they don't want to tell us about, right? Or really bad stuff. And I don't know when this is going to come up. Make some comments, people. I'm going to give this another 5 or 10 minutes and just chill. Be dead air for a minute, so make all the comments you want. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate the likes, you know, in the comments, and we're trying to get y'all caught up to speed as best we can. Last comment, let's see, was, I find your streams very informative. I appreciate what you're doing. Yeah, thank you. So I just wanted to teach drivers how to, you know, change parts on their trucks. And I put up a couple of playlists, you know, fix-it vids and trucking tips. That was my whole goal. Then other stuff happened. And then this mess happened. And I'm like, they're not communicating the risk. Somebody's got to do it. And people are probably looking all over the place online trying to find this info. So I'm like, well, I'll put it up there. I don't care. You know? So, somebody put you. Yeah, Rachel J put you. Yeah. Oh, you have been pretty damn informative. Thank you. Listen, my knowledge is limited to what I know as a driver and how to, you know, use this in an event of an accident and how to pump it off safely and all this other stuff. There's people that need to be on here. There's people that need to be more than me. They have this knowledge. They can tell the damn knowledge. They can share it. You know, if they'll just have the cojones to get up there. Listen, if you work at one of these chemical plants and you're one of the chemists, stop worrying about losing your job. Start thinking about public safety. Get on here and do a video on YouTube and be anonymous. You know, you don't have to show yourself. I'm not on this video. You know, I'm not trying to be famous. Just set the camera up, face the wall, and tell them your credentials. Say, I am this. I can tell you that this chemical may make your nose bleed, and they're not talking about that, but it's happening. Okay, that confirms a little bit. Every little bit helps. If all you know is that you need to get out, tell them to get out. That's what I've been telling them. But if you're a doctor, maybe they'll listen to you. I don't have a degree on my wall. I've got a CB radio and a, you know, whatever. Okay, I just know what's in here, and this tells you to evacuate, you know. Starting with a mile and go miles and miles from there. Because this is all spread out now. This stuff pools in low places. I wouldn't go in my basement. You couldn't pay me to go in a basement down there. You couldn't pay me to go into a manhole cover or any kind of a building that has maybe been, you know, saturated with this stuff. This stuff is, think radioactive. Think that type of a situation, what you would do. Don't wash your car with your hands. Have some chemical rubber gloves on, okay? And spray it away from you, and have safety glasses on and all this stuff, and breather and all this stuff when you do it. Don't ingest it in any way. Don't be out back barbecuing because you got the day off. That stuff is still in the air. It will get in your food, and then you did just what? You just dosed yourself with this stuff. You just ingested it. You see what I'm saying? All of this is so bad. This is, you're not going to clean this up with a wet wipe. Okay? I would say honestly, at some point they're going to have to realize they probably have to destroy some houses. Let's see. I would have known none of that information without your streams. It has been helpful. I'm 50 miles north of Deer Park, but I know folks out there. Share this with them. I know that they're going to have to dig through all my videos to hear everything I'm saying, because a lot of it's me showing this Mickey Mouse shit they're putting up here. And just tell them, say, look, This guy does know what he's talking about. I don't know everything, but everything I don't talk about. What I talk about, I am informed on. And I can tell you that, like I read from this book, you know, out of page, if you want to help them, tell them to go to a truck stop and try to tell them to get one of these. Emergency Response Guidebook. Doesn't matter the year. Don't want it just hazmat. It's got to say Emergency Response Guidebook, ERG book. Okay? And it probably cost them, you know, 5, 10, 15 bucks. I don't know. Maybe 20. TA truck stops have them. I believe all of them do, but you could call the local truck stops, go on Trucker Path, get the Trucker Path app, okay? TRUCKERPATH is the app. I'll show it to you on my phone if I can on the other device. On that Trucker Path app, you can get their phone number and call each individual one instead of driving around. And then you can go get one of them books. And then you can look up the name of it. And every time I do this, I do it like this. That's the ID, name, and the response guide. And you can say hazard class and then table. Either way, I'm gonna do what I can though. Pick up a book, look up the chemical, and see when it tells you to evacuate. You know what I mean? They should be doing this for you people. I shouldn't have to be way away from the event and talk about it. Like I said, they're just gonna wait and let everybody die and tell them to sit there. I would say you're better off sleeping. Don't run your car, but sleeping in the back seat of a car or whatever the front seat, however you're comfortable, in a rest area or even a truck stop, far away from there. Don't go to the Loves in Independence in Deer Park. Go far away, but I'm saying, you know, shut the car off so you don't breathe in any exhaust, and leave the window cracked maybe a little bit or whatever. But I mean, that you're safer there than breathing in chemicals in your home. So even if you don't have money for a hotel room, listen, people, you don't know this, but you can take a shower at a truck stop for about 10 or 15 bucks. Usually it's about 10 bucks. You can take a shower at the truck stop. You can sit there and eat. You can chill. So it's 10 bucks a day versus, you know, 50 or 100 for a hotel. And just hang out inside the truck stop. Nobody's going to kick you out. Some of them have movie rooms. Look, and drivers, I'm not trying to fill up the truck stops, but I'm telling these people, you know that I'm right. You would want someone to tell your family that there's other options than what they're doing. And if you need a shower, actually, some truck drivers will give you a shower off of their shower card. We have a little credit card that we swipe, okay, when we buy fuel, and every time we buy 50 gallons, that's why we buy 50 at a time, we get a free shower credit. We wind up with extra ones usually, okay, depending on how we run. And so we'll give another driver. Driver say, hey man, you got any showers left? I ain't got nothing for this truck stop. All of mine are at the Pilot, or all of mine, every single one's got a different card. Yeah, okay. You could ask a truck driver. You could say, hey, listen, do you have any showers on your card? Can you swipe your card and they'll give me the shower? And they'll do that, and the people behind the register don't care. I'm telling you, that's how this works. Drivers do it for other drivers. Just tell them your driver, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Go get your shower. Be out of there. You don't even have to shower at your house. You don't have to sweat nothing. Just get out of that house. Get out of the area. And for this weekend and past Monday, when that black rain comes and when it washes all that stuff down, you know, let's see, found the app. Damn, this is handy to have on your phone, even if you're not a trucker. Yes, because it shows Walmarts. I'm sorry, I got into, okay, I tend to go off into a tangent. I do. I realize that, so I'm going to go to that app. I said I was going to show the app. I'm glad you found it, but other people may not have, so I want to show what it looks like. You see this that says Trucker Path right here above my thumb? TRUCKERPATH. Here, let me turn this off so let's glare. Let's try again here. And I know it's not going to focus, but we'll try it. Okay. TRUCKERPATH. That one right there. You just touch on it. Okay? And it's going to find your location. And then I'm going to go to... I'll go to... from Houston to Dallas. I'll show you a route from Houston to Dallas on it real quick. And then... I'll show you that there's Walmart's truck stops. It's the best app ever is what it is. Truckers use it. I live by it. It helps me to maximize my miles and stuff. But this is more important for me to put this out than to maximize my miles right now. And I am fixing to have to go. So sometimes you have to stop rowing so hard, and sometimes you have to stick your oar out from below decks and right the ship. You know, you can turn a ship without a rudder. That's how you do it. You put your oar in the water. So let's see if I can get this thing working, and I hope it doesn't fault out my phone, my live stream. I've got limited technology here, but I'm thinking I'm maximizing the heck out of it. So let's see, to continue, turn that on. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, great. I did it without turning on that location, and then I'm just going to do this. I'm going to route a route. Should I show y'all how to do this? Let's see here. I'm going to use this on my next road trip. It gives you a ton of info. It really does. Okay, so check this out. I went into, wait, let's see, that was Chicago to, let's see, hang on a second here. Let me go back. I want to show you how this app actually works. Okay, so this is Trucker Path, and then you touch this one over here. First, you go to the bottom and set up all the places you want to show up on the map, like Walmarts and all this stuff. And then you're going to type in from, I'm going to type in from Deer Park, Texas. To Dallas. Just because I know it's another city. I know it's a lot of miles. You don't have to go that far away. Think at least 10 or 15 miles. You know what I'm saying? Because of away from that smoke plume. Everywhere it's traveled, go away from that. Don't go in the direction of the smoke plume and go that way, because you'll still be under it, especially when it rains. And that rain is going to make that little marshmallow thing, that foam they've got on top of there, leak. So it's going to leak, and it's going to be bad this time. It's going to be a really bad leak this time, because they'll be out there in the rain and they can't stop it, and the foam won't stick, and it's just not going to work when it rains. They were supposed to have this done before it rains, and they couldn't. So now it's going. It's a compounded disaster that's fixing to happen. It's going to be worse than they could describe. Yeah, I just put in Dallas too. Wow, it shows you every stop, every sort of stop the whole way there. Yeah, well, see, here's how it works too. On places down here, you hit places, and then you see what you want to show up. You show the way station, the TA, the pilot, and then you just scroll this way. You want it to show Walmarts and parking. That says rest areas. You want to show rest areas too, okay? Because especially if you're just going to sleep in a rest area or something crazy, it's an emergency situation. I don't always recommend that, but then truck washes, Speedco, any of these places, hotels, it shows hotels. You know what I'm saying? So, and you could call the hotels from their number. All this stuff here, you know, International, Mac, whatever kind of truck you have. Repair shops. I've been meaning to show this, but anyhow, the point is, let's just go down. Let's just say we're going back to the route that I put up, and that's everything on the route. And then if you hit this button, it'll go to your to the, well, that goes to the center location. I don't have GPS set up, so I'll put no thanks. It would mess me up because I'm not down there. But if you push this button, it'll go to where you're at on that route, or where you're at off the route, and then you just zoom in. Check it out. There's that Loves that you don't want to be at, okay? Go up 8, but it's closed, so you're going to have to go a different way somehow or whatever. There's Channel View, a little bit too close, okay? I would say from there to there, it's a little bit too close. Let's see what it says on miles. But you tap on it, it shows you whether there's parking or not for a truck, and then you tap on this again. Then it shows you all this information, okay? Shows weather, fuel price. This is a different kind of app. Man, my other app don't even show all this crap. So, phone number, and you can call them and see if they have those books. So, but I'm saying I wouldn't stop. You know, that one's too close. So, let's see here. Hang on a second. Diesel prices, reviews for each place, open parking spots, etc. I'm loving this. Yeah, it really is helpful. So, all right. So to go further though, and Walmarts that will let you park, here's how you find out about Walmarts if they'll let you park there. You tap on the Walmart, you tap here, okay, and then it'll show truck parking, yes or no, okay. Usually it show truck parking yes or no. Oh, parking available. It's blank means no. But here's the thing: you go to reviews, you see what people are saying. No overnight parking in front of store, but security pointed out an empty lot behind the store that was available and wouldn't be bothered. Okay, so only Walmart trucks are allowed to park there. But see, cars can. Listen, I'm just telling you, people. If you have a camper, it might be a. I don't know if it's already gotten all over your camper though. You know what I mean? I would just wash the car, change your air filter wearing gloves. Go buy some more clothes at a store and throw them out after you get there. After you take a shower at the truck stop or wherever, and then you could stay in a hotel. I would just say, like, this is on the cheap. I'm just giving you the MacGyvering cheap way out. And I would say, if you're planning to go back, bring some goggles and a breather with you when you go back in case this event happens again after a few days. But in the meantime, you got to think about what kind of residue would be all over your house after that black rain comes, and what kind of residue is going to be maybe even in your house. When you leave, I would turn off your air conditioner. Keep in mind, it's going to get hot in there, but at the same time, it won't be sucking in outside air like they say it does, And bring home another filter when you come home. There's a lot of this stuff to it. Get a HEPA filter, not just one of the green ones. It'll help some more too, but that stuff is so bad, it's not like you're just going to clean it up. They should have hazmat crews down. I would just destroy the houses. Any houses affected by that stuff, it's going to kill the grass. It's going to kill your pets. It's going to kill trees. That stuff, and it's wherever they had that 10 level at. That place is really going to be messed up. What can you say about this, though, people? So I've got, like I said, I showed, all the places along the way. That's what it shows you when you do a route, okay? Or you can just go this way and show in an area around it by getting off the route. Because I don't have GPS set up on this one, so it won't kill my stream, but there you go. You get it, though. When you do a route, you get that, like they said. So, anybody want to say anything else? I'm just giving you intel, and I'm putting together the little pieces that they keep accidentally telling you. And that's how I come up with the schematic, okay, on what's going on. And that's how I come up with, like I said, that chart. I'll do that chart tomorrow. I don't know that I'll be able to put it up on video tomorrow, but I'll do the chart tomorrow, and I'll have it up like the next day of an event of when they said, what day they said there was elevated spike, and what the level was, and what chemical they said it was. And the first day, they were calling it pie gas. And from now on, we're going to refer to this as pie gas. Now they're wanting to say, oh, it's a gas blend stock. Why are they walking back to that? Because it's proprietary knowledge. It's because they have a patent on pie gas. It's because they're going to have to release what's in the stuff, and they don't want to give up their patent. Do you see what I'm saying, people? They're lying to you, and they're killing you softly with the song of you're going to be okay when you're dying. And they're using all these hand motions. Oh, we're going to keep the levels down and all that. That's a psyop, man. They're trying to twist your brain. The reason you don't see me is I'm just teaching you the truth, and if you don't believe it, you don't have to believe it. I'm not in front of you saying, oh, look, you got to believe when I convey this with my hands to you, like they are. You know what I'm saying? I might point to them. I can't help that. It's stupid, and they're doing romper room shit. Go ahead and make some more comments, and then I'm going to get off this thing. You're not holding me up by making comments, and I appreciate them. And I would not stay there. Not even one more night. I wouldn't have stayed the first night. I appreciate everybody showing up. This is just, is that a news conference? Is that a press coverage? Is that something that gave you any intel? I'm telling you the best I can that these are bad stuff. And, I'm giving more knowledge than they are. And I'm picking apart the stuff they accidentally put out and putting it together, and they should have released this if they're going to be telling people, hey, look, guess what? The leak and everything happened on 80-7 instead of, oh, it's 80-7, 80-8. They can, if they're only required to be up there for 15 minutes or 30 minutes for a press conference, they want to fill it up with as much garbage as they can so they don't have to answer real hard hitting questions. So what are they going to do? They're going to give you a bunch of numbers and figures that have nothing to do with nothing and fill up that whole news conference, but they messed up and they gave 80-7 and said that was that one where the breach was. Then you can go further and draw a map of the whole place and you can see, oh, they had this. Well, oh, they're not telling us about 8 magical other tanks. And the guy just said, so how many were involved? Who's telling you who involved? They would not answer that question. So I'm answering the question. It's a total of 15. 2 were not damaged. They're up here in the top right-hand corner, this one and the one next to it to the left. That leaves 13, people. What's in the magical mystery 8 other tanks that they're not telling you about? You got me? Why did the wall break? Why did they turn off 47 sensors when they had a leak and they knew it? You know? Man, that's a responsible company that does that, right? Am I right? Is that being responsible? Let's see here. Yeah, Vest guy evaded giving a number real quick. They've been not giving information the whole time. I've showed it on every single video they went through. I would dig for it and try to find, like I said, the reporters that were on the news station, they're the ones that put out this and that, and I put stuff together. Of what chemical? At first, oh, it's just pie gas. That was in tank 1. Then, oh, crap, another tank and 5 more, caught fire and blew up next to them. What do we do now? Well, we got to tell them what's in them. Well, crap, what's in them? Well, we're going to call it this. We're going to call it that, but we're not going to tell them about the bad chemical that's in them. So, share this on your Facebook page. Share this on your Twitter page. If you're on Instagram or where, share this on all your social medias to get the word out, especially to friends that you have in Texas. If you have a friend on Facebook in Texas, send them a link to this, and then tell them to go further and talk to a doctor about the chemicals, and then tell them to get checked out if they've had any symptoms, period. And tell them, do not sign that thing just to get some kind of a settlement right now. Rachel J put, I'll share it for sure. Yeah, and I'm going to put it on my Twitter. And so, if anybody's been affected in any way, or anybody lives out there, and you say, are you sure in the past few days you haven't felt sick or dizzy, or you haven't had a spell? They say, come think about it. I did pass out the other night in my house, and it was odd, and I woke up on the floor, crazy stuff like that, and you'll be like, hey, you need to go to the hospital and get checked out. You need to document this, and then if you have health symptoms and problems later, you need to make them aware of it, and then that way you have a lawsuit. Because it's not about suing for money, it's about being able to pay millions of dollars in medical bills that you may later have if they have to operate on your lungs. Does that make sense? When they crack you open and they have a rib spreader, right? You want to really talk about this and go deep into it? Let's say when they spread your ribs out, okay, people, they have a rib spreader and it spreads your ribs out. It's called cracking you open. Then you're part of the zipper club. Anybody that's ever had a heart attack is part of the zipper club, right? Because you got stitches up the middle of your chest. So when they crack them ribs open like this with a rib spreader, and they go in there and they work on your lungs and they take something out, or a tumor or this or that, right? You know how that's expensive? You can't afford that, but you can't afford to die. So what's going to happen? They got to pay for it. You got to think ahead to that point today with the knowledge that I gave you. Don't sign away your rights to being able to be paid for that just for taking a couple $100 now. Don't do it. You're selling yourself down the river. Not just short, but you're shortening your life. And keep your kids up off the ground. That's where the stuff pulls. Keep them up higher. I don't care if you put them in a booster seat and they're like, why am I in a booster seat? I'm too old for this. Tell them it's a special magical chair and you're going to take them off into space. Whatever. Lie to them. Tell them. Do what you have to do. When you go outside with your children and you go to the car, pick them up and carry them so that their face is at your level. Because this stuff pulls on the ground. And then open the door and set them in the car and get on. But like I said, don't run your air conditioner and be blowing it through your vents until you wash the car down with gloves. You have gloves on and take the filter out. And then you truck drivers, I've got videos on how to change the air filter that's out there and the one that's in the bunk. If you even drove through that place, I'd be doing that. and I would clean all that stuff with some Dawn dishwashing liquid and a rag, and then some kind of Castrol super clean or something. White vinegar is if you get it on your skin, but I don't know about those chemicals. The chemicals I'm talking about that it dilutes and makes it completely inert is like, there's a really bad chemical called caustic, and white vinegar, if you get that on you, will save your life and it'll stop caustic from eating you. So these chemicals would probably be washed off and probably be made inert by some white vinegar. Get you a couple of gallons of white vinegar. If you want to, whenever you're at that truck stop or somewhere else or whatever you got to do, you know, after you take before you take the shower and you needed to wash that off, and then throw them clothes away, get you some new clothes. Depends on how affected you were in this area. I don't know who I'm speaking to at this time. Maybe it's someone who woke up and their house was full of this nasty stuff, or maybe it's somebody that just thinks they might have been affected. So whoever's getting this, wherever this goes, just know I'm trying to help, and I'm trying to give you as much information as I have, but I'm limited. You need a chemist. If there's a chemist out there, he needs to do videos. So I'm gonna get off this thing. I hope I didn't ramble too long. I was just trying to put some more information in this video. Carry your kids. Don't let them be ground level. And you know, I'm not gonna tell you to stay vigilant and this bullshit. That's not truth. I would say stay out of that town where there's a gas leak. That's truth. You know, do the things I told you, and it may mitigate or alleviate. What's the word? I don't know. Eliminate some of your risk. You might minimize some of your risk. You know what I'm saying? Them saying that they're monitoring the situation. Let them monitor the situation while you're somewhere else. Don't let them monitor the situation while you're sleeping in a house that might get gassed. Let them monitor it. Let them do their job. It's not your job to stay there and monitor it. It's not your job to be a guinea pig. It's not your job to be the canary in the coal mine. It's not your job to be the scapegoat. Don't be a scapegoat. Don't be a number. Get the hell out of there. So there you go. I'm out. Watch my videos, people. Share them. You know, the ones about this. If you're a truck driver, I got other stuff. The ones that you're interested, I'm gonna make a playlist. I'm gonna make a playlist right now. I think maybe I already have on one. I gotta make a playlist. What do you want me to name it? Houston Fire? What's should I call it? Houston or Deer Park? Tell me what to name the playlist, and I'll drop it. You know, and then I'll be off this thing. What would be something that you would be looking for if you was on here? I'm thinking Deer Park ITC Fire. Fine. Works for me. Deer, because I'm not perfect and I don't want it to be missed. Deer Park ITC Fire. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come up with something for ITC. I told you it was contained. You know what I'm saying? What can you say about that? I'll tell you who to call. Oh my God. See, this is where we're at. You know, we have to have humor because we've got no, we have limited real intel. Like I said, I'm building intel. I'm building intel, people. Listen, I'm going to have a graph, but I'm building intel. You know, they're not going to give you this. You could make one of these yourself, draw what I drew on here and print it out. And here's the chemicals that I put at the top if it helps you any. There's some numbers, like I said, that are missing and stuff. You can take a look at that, still frame it as you want, and write it in your own handwriting. And then all you need is 15 tanks. 3 times 5 is 15, people, right? 15 tanks. That's that farm, 15. So like I said on the earlier one, and this is west towards the bottom, and that way's north to the left towards, I would think that's Houston. You know, Houston, we got a problem. And that's 80-7, and that's the breach where the wall fell, 10-foot section of it. See, they should be showing this. They should be giving you this and handing these out. They should be handing out you know, these books and saying if you're within so many miles, you know, get out. Telling you, they're not talking about nosebleeds, even though all the babies and all the kids and little babies are being taken into these places, and they're saying, my nose is bleeding, I'm dizzy, I'm sick, I'm having diarrhea. They're just saying, oh, you might get dizzy. Or they're not saying nothing about the nosebleeds. Why? If that's what people are saying they have, why aren't they telling you that that might happen? They got a whole list of stuff up on the screen of what might happen. They don't say nosebleeds. They don't say vertigo. They don't say, you know, well, it's definitely, I mean, loss of consciousness makes sense, but I mean, they're watering this down, man. So I'm gonna get off this thing, and I appreciate everybody being here. I'm gonna put a few of these, I'm gonna build a playlist, and then you can share the playlist, and it'll have all the videos I talk about in it. I'm also gonna put this on Operation Hot Biscuit, because that's what this is about too. So it'll be in 2 different playlists, but I'm gonna put it in Deer Park ITC Fire. Y'all stay safe. I'm gonna get off this thing. Thanks for the comments, and thanks for sharing, and get it to the people that need it. Rachel J put appreciate it. Yep, and as soon as I can get some more intel, if I do, I'll put it up. If I don't have nothing to talk about, this is as far as I can probably go with it. I've melted my brain down and downloaded to the internet, and this is all I can do for you, is all the things I've already done. They come out with some more of that romper room mess, I'm gonna put it up. If it's relevant, you know, if it says anything in there that I can get a nugget of information. Otherwise, I'm just gonna make this a playlist and I'm gonna drop it. Y'all stay safe. I'm gonna get out of here. You should get out of there too if you're down there. All right, I'm out. Peace.